Here we go. A Tuesday edition of the Sports Bash live. 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Live video, 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel powered by BFA Sports. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Mike Gill. Josh Hennings producing today's show. You out there. Wow. I'm sure we didn't expect to see that type of dominance last night. But was it dominance? What was that? How do you describe what you saw last night? I want to get your reaction. I want to get it right off the bat at 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. If you watched the game last night, give me your initial reaction right off the bat. Hit me up quickly. Hit me up fast. Hit me up 609-403-0973. If you're watching the show live, you can always get involved in the video chat as well on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. And, of course, if you're listening to the show on your app on your phone, you can message us through the app on your phone. We got messages coming in quickly on the text board. Listen, Jalen Hurts last night, I guess the question that you start with is, did Jalen Hurts take that next step? Did he just right before our very eyes take that step? Did he go from, I don't know if he can be the guy, to at least I now saw a guy that I think can be the guy? I'm not saying he's the guy. 26 of 31, 333 yards, a touchdown. He ran for 2. He ran for 57 yards. He led them to victory last night. He was accurate. He was decisive. He threw the deep ball. He found the open man. Week 1. What do we tell you? Let's not judge teams week to week. Week 1. Well, he didn't throw the ball. He didn't spread the ball around enough. On the opening drive last night, he hit every single receiver on the team. That opening drive was a thing of beauty last night. I mean, he went around and around and around, and he made sure everybody got a touch. So that wasn't a problem last night. He doesn't have a strong arm. Well, he threw the deep ball last night. He threaded the needle. He hit guys in stride. He hit guys wide open. He hit guys who were covered. I mean, one of the incompletions, his first of the night, Goddard dropped that ball. I mean, it was a tough catch. He had 3 defenders wrapped around him, but he still found the window to get it in there. If you had questions about Jalen Hurts, did he answer some of your questions last night? I mean, the numbers last night, you look at the targets, 6 for Goddard, 7 for Smith, 8 for Brown, 2 for Watkins. Pascal got 2, Sanders with 3, Gainwell with 2. 31 targets, he spread them all around. Nobody had double digits. Nobody got to get a bigger piece of the pie. Everybody was involved. The night was about Jalen Hurts. And I really am interested to see the reaction today. You know, this is why you had some, whatever yesterday saying, well, they were 0-4. They lost by an average of 16 points. Who cares? That was a year ago. The roster's completely different. You saw how much better this Eagles roster is from last year's Eagles roster. That game last night showed you how much more difficult they are to defend offensively. Of course they lost by 16.5 points last year on primetime games. They were in games against teams that were just flat out more talented than they were. You shouldn't have expected anything differently. You're playing primetime games against teams that were better. It didn't matter if you played that game at noon, 1, 4, 7, 9:30 in the morning in London. You were going to get your ass beat. Why? You weren't good enough. But you bring a better roster to the table. And Jalen Hurts is obviously taking the next step. Now, the big thing is, Hurts has now shown kind of a ceiling of what he can be, because you can't play better than that, can you? I mean, can you play better than he played last night? I don't know. If he does, teams in this league are going to be in some trouble. What was my bold prediction before the season? That Jalen Hurts was going to play in a way that he's going to win fans over. The fans are going to yearn for him to sign back here. That was my bold prediction before the season. If he gives you games like that last night, here's the big thing. Can he give you more games like that? The next step is, now we've seen what you can do. Can you be consistent? Text board is rolling right now, 609-403-0973. Tim from Millville chimes in that Rager revenge game is currently being reviewed by the Hall of Fame. Rager actually had more yards rushing than Dalvin Cook had last night. That was part of the mix there, right? I like this, a little meme somebody sent on the text board. My feelings after last night, and he sends the Dumb and Dumber picture of Jim Carrey saying, "So you're saying there's a chance," right? I like that one. I like the fact that you took the time to send the meme in. Nick in Galloway, the dominance in every phase. Hurts keeps getting better. He's the guy. He's everything you want to lead your franchise as a human being, a player. Go Birds. That's from Nick in Galloway. Nick, and I'm glad you left your name because you brought a good text to the table to kind of, get our hands dirty with a little bit. Jalen Hurts, no one's ever questioned his ability to lead the team. No one has ever questioned him being a leader. I brought up on yesterday's show about these guys who come into the league, they're not ready to play quarterback. They get thrusted into a game, and they're not ready to play quarterback, right? Jalen Hurts, for all intents and purposes, was not ready to play quarterback in this league when he got thrown into the position. Wentz struggled so bad, they went to him, and he gave the team a little spark. I think he even won a game his rookie season. And last year, he's not ready to play quarterback in the NFL. None of these guys are. Trey Lance isn't. Justin Fields isn't. Most of these guys are not ready to play NFL quarterback. But in year number 3, is Jalen Hurts getting to the point? Look, this is one thing I love about Hurts. You never have to question his work ethic, whether he's trying to get better, whether he wants to get better. All of those things I know about Jalen Hurts. I know he wants to get better. I know he's trying to get better. I know he's working hard. Now, just because you're Rudy in the gym or on the training field doesn't mean it's going to translate to NFL starting quarterback, all-pro, Pro Bowl, capable starter. But at least I know Jalen Hurts has the intangibles to want to be better. And that means a lot to me anyway. 609-403-0973. Terry in Galloway says, Mike, remember when I told you guys they didn't draft a quarterback in the second round to be a backup? I told you he'd be the starter before long. You guys tarred and feathered me and embarrassed me on the air. Look at us now. Well, Terry, some days you get embarrassed on the air and some day I do. That's the whole fun of this game. Some days I win, some days you win. I don't remember you saying that, but if you did, kudos to you. You get 2 points today. Terry and Galloway, you're on the scoreboard. Total of 2.
I would just remind Terry that maybe he said that.
Can I just real quick interject?
Yeah.
If you remember the day of the draft, I was not somebody who hated the pick. I had no problem with them draft. People are, why are they taking a quarterback? I had no problem with them taking a quarterback. I didn't think he was going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah,
so I don't recall tar and feathering anybody because I had no issue with them taking Jalen Hurts. But, Terry, if I did, as I said, 2 points for you. Some days I win. Some days you win. More days I win than you, Terry. But maybe you won that day. And I'll give you the 2 points if you earn them.
I mean, listen, if Terry did, that's great. I clearly remember Howie Roseman when he was interviewed by John Clark after the draft. He specifically pointed to what? He said, hey, a decade ago, we had a chance to get a quarterback. We didn't get him, and we ended up with Nick Foles. And then Joe Banner went on the Inside the Birds pod and said Howie was talking about Russell Wilson. As the organization wanted Russell Wilson, they missed out on him, and they got Nick Foles. Now, it obviously worked out for Eagles history, but the larger point is that in Howie's mind, as he described it, he viewed Jalen Hurts as having the traits that they liked when they saw Russell Wilson. So, at least from the Eagles' perspective, what I remember is Howie Roseman looking at Jalen Hurts as part of their, Howie hates us bringing this up, but the quarterback factory.
Yeah, listen, I think the Eagles don't care. And I remember that day, the day they drafted. I said the Eagles value the backup quarterback more than they do the starting safety.
Right.
The Eagles' backup quarterback to them is higher on the depth chart of importance than linebacker. Now, people don't want to hear that. But that's the reality, is
It's
that
the
the
truth.
Eagles value backup quarterback more than they do safety, linebacker, probably slot corner, maybe even outside corner. You don't see them drafting corners.
Very rarely. I mean, Zach McPherson's the last quarterback they drafted.
4th round.
Yeah.
They're
By the
not
way,
drafting a corner in round 1 or round. Yeah, they took Sidney Jones in round 2, but that blew up in their face. No, the Eagles are quite content with drafting corners. Like the last corner they drafted, that was their guy, I think was Jalen Mills, and he was a 7th round pick.
Yeah, he was a guy who was dropped in the draft because of off the field issues. And
Here we go, by the way. Kevin says lock up Hurts on a contract. Then while you're at it, lock up all the secondary on multi-year deals. Throw Sanders in there. I love this Eagles team. They looked hype AF. Kevin, here's one thing. You are not allowed to sign Hurts until the end of the year.
Right.
There's a NFL rule based on his rookie status, right? Or when they drafted him.
Right. There has to be a certain amount of time that passes before you're allowed to give a guy an extension.
Yeah. Says while you're lock up the secondary on multi-year deals. Well, Bradbury's on a 1-year deal. Slay, I don't know his contractual situation. This might be his last year, Slay. And Maddox, they did just sign to a longer-term deal. So 1/3 of your secondary is here long-term. Throw Sanders in there. Look, Sanders is on his last year of the deal, too. Keep that in mind. Jalen Hurts will have a better season than Kyler Murray. Now we're starting to get a little crazy here. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it's amazing the wave, how things have changed from, I don't know about this guy. I don't trust this guy. I don't know if this guy could be the guy. Now he's better than Kyler Murray. He was the first pick in the draft a couple of years ago. And by the way, played pretty well on Sunday.
Darius Slay is locked in with guaranteed money through 2024.
2024. So he's here this year, next year, and the following year.
Yes, he has 2 voidable years for 25 and 26.
My first initial thought, are the Vikings frauds, or was it Cousins' curse? Hurts looked accurate and dangerous. Thank you for the text. No, the Vikings aren't frauds. The Eagles are pretty good. And I was explaining that to somebody in our building. He's a Packers fan. And I said, it's hard for people to come to terms with the Eagles are a lot of talent, right? People, it's amazing. There's people who live in this area who have chosen not to root for the hometown team, right? You choose to live here, but you don't like the Eagles fans. It makes no sense. Oh, I think Eagles fans are jerks. Yet I choose to live in the same area. What does that make you? I'll refrain from answering that question. I am choosing to live in an area where I think the people are jerks. What does that make you?
Not fun?
Maybe your SAT score wasn't very good. I'll just maybe throw that out there. You've
just
made
gonna
the
say
decision to live in
anti-fun.
an area where you think the fan base is filled with people who are jerks. That might have more about who you are, okay? That being said, so the guy who works here, he's a Packers fan. I didn't ask the origin of why he's a Packers fan. That's none of my business. But he's a Packers fan. He said, I thought based on the fact that the Vikings beat the Packers up. I said, well, first off, you can't take what you saw one week and carry that over the next week. Here's the thing. The Eagles have a ton of talent. People who don't like the Eagles that live here are so blinded by their hatred of the hometown team for whatever reason that they never want to admit that the team is good. The Eagles are a good team with a lot of talent. Now, does that mean they're going to win the Super Bowl? Does that mean they're not going to disappoint? I don't know the answer, but at least I can say, if you're being objective, let's say you're that weirdo that lives around here that likes the Patriots, or you're that weird dude that lives around here and likes the Cowboys, or you're really an oddball and you live around here and you like the Raiders or something. At least be objective and say, look, that team's got a lot of talent. I don't like the team, but I got to at least acknowledge, like I do. I don't like the Cowboys, but I always acknowledge, but man, they have a lot of talent. What I've always maintained over the years is the coach is an idiot. Jason Garrett, he held that team back. Mike McCarthy, he holds that team back. I can firmly acknowledge that Dallas has a ton of talent. They're just very poorly coached. They're very poorly run. Their owner's an idiot. I mean, he holds them back. The coach holds them back. But they're loaded with talent. I have no problem admitting that Dallas has a ton of talent. Now, do I believe in them? No, because you don't win with just talent. Philadelphia, to me, has a ton of talent. This team is very deep. Now, Do they have questions? Absolutely. But the league is set up for everybody to be, the league is set up for parity. The league is set up for everybody to be somewhat in the middle. And then you have a couple of teams that basically jump out of the middle and they rise to the top, and you have a couple of teams that go down to the bottom. And then they kind of rotate around. But the league is set up for ultimate parity. So anybody who sits here and doesn't think like this team can beat this team on any Sunday just because of what you saw on one particular Sunday, you haven't watched football long enough to have that opinion.
So on NFL Network this morning, they asked a question that I wanted to ask you here, Mike. I think it's a good moment to ask it. So Kyle Brandt, they asked him who his favorites are for the Super Bowl this morning, and him and Peter Schrager agreed that it should be the Eagles and the Bills. But
I saw a lot of Eagles-Bills tweets last night and asking whether or not if Arizona will be able to handle the fan base coming in of like Eagles fans and Bills fans coexisting at the same time.
Kyle Brandt said that he doesn't think America is ready for Bills and Eagle fans
absolutely
in the same place for a whole week.
That was everywhere last night. It was like, can you imagine these two teams making their way to Arizona, what that would be like? Look, what we know is this, that Philadelphia right now, they look dominant last night. And I want to break down this game a lot more and kind of get into it, but they looked dominant last night. And I want to address this. The entire week was the notion of, can John Gannon coach? Does John Gannon know what he's doing? Can John Gannon? Look, we said it yesterday. If you listen to the show yesterday, right? If you listened to our show yesterday, you heard us talk about, was it John Gannon doesn't know what he's doing, or was it lack of execution? I think you maybe got a better answer to that question last night. Fair or unfair?
It's very fair. I was one of those people who wondered how much of it was Gannon and how much of it was the players, because I had told everybody that before the year started, my greatest fear happened in week 1, which was I was afraid that we spent all these resources on these defensive players, and then Gannon would go out there and lay an egg. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, the Eagles were the worst tackling team in the NFL week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you asked yesterday, Mike, how much of it was the players, how much of it was Gannon? And I think last night you found out that it was probably more the players than it was Gannon, because guess what? They still had missed tackles last night, but they held the Vikings.
Well, I thought he called a better game. I will say that. But my point is that I don't think John Gannon was the reason they gave up 35 points as much as the team did not tackle well. I don't think John Gannon was some atrocity at calling defense last week. I think his defense just did not execute. Mm-hmm. I don't think that the Eagles last night won the game because in spite of John Gannon, I thought John Gannon's defense against a good offense. The Vikings are a team. Now, are they going to win the Super Bowl? I don't think so. No, I don't think the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl. But they certainly have weapons. That's an offense that's got talent. And the Eagles dominated them last night. They won at the point of attack, and this is what we talk about a lot. The Vikings offensive line up the middle, not very. I thought Fletcher Cox played pretty well last night.
That might be his best game in almost 2 years.
It's been he was active. He pushed the center back. They got pressure, but I thought John Gannon sent some more pressure at some opportune times. That was noticeable. He did send in a couple extra blitzers. I thought they came up the middle with some blitzes. I like that. Darius Slay, and I've asked for this numerous times. Which is send pressure, trust Slay, Maddox, and Bradbury. And they did that last night. So glowing reviews all over the place. But we got a lot to talk about with this. And I want to hear from you guys. 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. Busy show. Frank's got the Phillies mailbag coming up in about 20 minutes from now. We'll talk to Caplan, McMullen, who's in, who's out, Tuesday with Thompson, Grayson's grades. Busy show. Should the Eagles be thinking, all right, already about a number 1 seed? All right, get that for you coming up here on the Sports Bash Live 97.3 ESPN. Should the Eagles be thinking about a number 1 seed? That is something that somebody said this morning. I want to hear what they had to say about that very topic. We were at the Gallery bar booking games yesterday at Ocean Casino Resort, and you can get there this football season. Cheer on your favorite drinks, cheer on your favorite team. Go to the Gallery Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more info, visit theoceanac.com. You must be 21 or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We got a busy show, and we got this for you as well. 4 more chances today to qualify for Eagles Commanders tickets, Monday Night Football. Club box seats, baby. Got club box seats to see Carson and the Commanders right here in Philly. Listen for your chance to score those tickets. We're going to enter one person each hour today on the Sports Bash, and we're going to be live October 28th. Garden State Beer Company. Can't wait to be back there for a Happy Hour Friday. That's coming up. By the way, that night, the Sixers will be in action against the Raptors, so we'll already be back in the Sixers season by then. We also, if you go to our website right now, 973ESPN.com, you can enter to win. I got 5 pairs. 5 pair of tickets to see ZZ Top at Ocean Casino Resort Ovation Hall. You want to see ZZ Top? Enter now. Download the free mobile app or go to our website, 973ESPN.com. Watch the live video on our YouTube channel, powered by BFA Sports. Download the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. You can win the ZZ Top tickets and listen to us right here on 97.3 ESPN.
All in one place. 97.3 ESPN.
This report is brought to you by EMT Solar and Roofing. EMT Solar and Roofing can help you get qualified for a free roof with solar installation. Apply now at espnsolar.com.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, Tom Bodette from Motel 6, leaving the light on for truckers. As a thanks for all you do, we're asking America to bring back the air pump salute. We know you miss kids doing it. It always brought a smile to your face on an otherwise lonely stretch of road. So keep an eye out for wound-up kids in the back seat pumping their little arms off. Then give them an air horn blast that'll blow their tiny minds. I'm Tom Bodette from Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
Shopping lately? What a hassle. Way overpriced vehicles, limited inventories, endless waits for new cars. But that's not the way it is at Bennett Chevrolet. Because Bennett's got the new and used vehicles you want in stock, ready to roll. And get this, Bennett Chevy is selling new Chevys right at MSRP, not 1 cent more. Look around, you'll see. Selling at MSRP is very rare. And to keep your payments low, we've got financing from just 1.9%. And we're still paying a record minimum $7,000 for any trade, and I mean any trade, towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's right, we're paying a minimum $7,000 for the worst trade out there. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And at Bennett, you'll love the way you're treated, because our non-commissioned sales team is paid based on your overall satisfaction, not how much you spend. Come see how easy car buying can be when you find new roads at Bennett Chevy. Egg Harbor Township and BennettChevy.com. With GMF financing approved credit, excludes Corvette and prior sales.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
227 Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. The 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Download it in the Apple Store, Google Play, and live video on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, BFA Sports, giving you the video production. So I see a couple people already watching the show, chatting along in there. Let's bring Jeff's comment up to the screen here. I like this one. 2 beers, $29. Parking, $45. Jalen Hurts in the Eagles' performance last night, priceless. Awesome game to attend. Jeff, I'm glad you put that in there because, first off, the 2 beers, $29 is outrageous. What's that, $18 a beer? That's outrageous.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I thought I read an article on our website yesterday that said the Eagles had the most expensive beer in the league. Got to do better than that.
That's unacceptable.
But you're getting it. You're placating to your crowd. You're going to get the beer drink. They're going to buy.
I mean, with that money just spent on that beer.
What's more acceptable or unacceptable?
What's that?
$18 a beer or $45 to park your car.
Beer.
What can you swallow better? Well, can you come to terms with better?
I mean, both are horrible.
They're both horrible, Bob.
To me, the beer is worse because it's
$18 for a beer.
Like,
what kind of beer are you drinking, Jeff?
Like that?
Is that a regular Millie Light, or are you drinking some sort of IPA there? Like $18 for what?
I mean, with that money, I can go to Garden State Beer Company where you will be at on October 28th, Mike, and I can sample all the taps.
Yeah, for $18. You had 2 beers for $30. Parking $45. Jalen Hurts' performance priceless. It was priceless, but here's the question: am I going to get that again?
You
right?
should.
Am I going to get that again? John and Kate May. I know the Birds played great, but I was just curious on why Davis and Dean aren't seeing the field. Davis played the same 21 plays he played this week as opposed to last week. He played 21 plays. Dean did not play at all.
Dean didn't play because T.J. Edwards had a good game.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you see 57? He was everywhere last night, and 43 was all over the place. Somebody listening on the app messaged in on the mobile app. This is Jeff in, let's say, Shell Pile. Is that a place?
Yeah.
Where the hell is Shell Pile?
It's up the Parkway.
like Salem County out that way, Cumberland County,
I'll get you the
Cape May
exact
County. I
location.
mean, I need an answer on this.
I've heard of the
I
town.
mean, I got Jeff saying Shell Pile, as if like I'm supposed to know where that is, and you guys are both like, yeah, like I'm the idiot here. How many people in our listening audience have heard of Shell Pile?
So it's near the Port Norris. Well,
that's pretty
Marina.
far.
It's actually close to where I live.
Right. So is that Cape May County?
No, it's Cumberland.
So he's in Cumberland County.
It's like the southern edge of Cumberland County.
Okay. All right. Well, greetings to Shell Pile out there. I'm not like down in the place. I just never heard of it. I got to visit now. Is there a place that I should visit if I go to Shell Pile?
Well, you got to take Route 47 to get there.
I figured. I mean, there's no way to get to Cumberland County from here. But he asked this question. Looking at the schedule, when do you think the first loss will occur? I'm glad you asked that question, Jeff. This is what Keyshawn Johnson said this morning on KJM. Take a listen.
Texans. Their schedule is set up for them to have the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Okay, that was Keyshawn this morning. And his whole point with that is the way the Eagles played last night and with their schedule coming up, they should now be set up for the number 1 seed. And a couple of years ago, I remember talking about this. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, and the next year they opened up against Atlanta. And I said before the first week of the season that was a battle for number 1 seed. Like, you played Atlanta in the playoffs. You need that win for down the road. And people were like, week 1, you're talking about number. Yes, tiebreakers matter, dude. I have the tiebreaker over Minnesota now. And the way I played last night, my mindset has to change. I have the tiebreaker over Detroit, by the way, and I have 2 NFC conference wins. Not that I think that Detroit's going to be in play for the number 1 seed, but the Eagles should be thinking about it. And Jeff in the hell was that? Shell Pile asked a good question.
Morris River is near there.
Where?
Near the Morris River.
I don't know that area very well. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm letting you down, Jeff.
I go to the Wawa gas station in Dorchester often. So
Dorchester?
Yeah.
Is that a town?
Yeah.
I didn't hear of that place either.
It's about like 5 minutes from Shell Pile.
Damn it. Oh, man. I mean, I know like
anyone
landmarks.
out there listening, you know the Wawa near Dorchester on Route 47. Shout us out on the text board.
I know landmarks, right? I don't know the names of these towns. The only one I know is like Jonesy's Bar in Mizpah. Why? Because Mizpah is just such a recognizable name.
Is Jonesy's Bar
You
good?
drive on the way to past Jonesy's on your way to like Millville, Vineland, if you're going to like the prep out that way. All right. So to go back to Jeff's comment, I'm just having fun here. Keyshawn just broke it down. Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona, Dallas, the bye week. Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington, Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, who when you got the schedule and you saw Tennessee, they won 13 games last year. You probably thought differently. Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Giants. I mean, I'm not being crazy when I ask this question, or am I? You tell me a game on this schedule that I just ripped off where you think the Eagles might be an underdog. I don't know that I see one. I mean, will they be an underdog at Arizona? Maybe just because Arizona's the home team. Are they going to be an underdog at Indianapolis? Probably not right now. Are they going to be an underdog against Green Bay? The game's in Philly. I would doubt it. I don't know that there is a game where they're an underdog the whole season. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win every single game. But reading through this schedule, now it's 2 weeks. Things could change. But let me just, you guys out there, Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona.
Arizona's the one for me, if I had to pinpoint one.
Dallas, bye. Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington, Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, Giants, Bears, Dallas, New Orleans, Giants. Not sure I see a game where they're going to be an underdog.
There's not a lot of opportunities.
I mean,
for it.
Injury, right?
Injury, and also, do the Giants keep the pace that they're on right now? Do they keep pace with the Eagles, and then that December 11th game at New York, is that, for the division almost?
Yeah. By the way, Mike in Mays Landing, you're right. He said $29 does not equal 18 a beer. It's $14.50. I don't know why I said 18.
I didn't do the math, so I'll trust him.
Yeah, no, he's right. I just randomly threw out 18 for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's one of those things where I was looking at the number 18 or something.
Maybe. I heard the number 29. All I thought of was all the beer I could drink at Garden State Beer Company.
14 is $14.50 acceptable.
No.
A beer.
Anything $10 and up is unacceptable for a beer.
Jeff said he was drinking Miller Lite last night. At least it was 20 ounces. Oh, well, the 20 ounce for $14.50.
I mean, at least you got a mediocre value.
Big D's watching on YouTube. He says Green Bay, that's the game. Creepy Uncle wants to know, is the Saints game home or away? It's in Philly. Evan, underdog at home against the Giants due to resting their starters. Well, that would be week 18, dude.
Yeah, that's the final week of the season. We're asking about before then.
No, I mean, if that's the first one.
If that's the first one, I'll be surprised.
Jeff says the Saints home January 1st. They're not going to be underdogs.
Why would they be underdogs at home?
Not at home, no.
That's why I said Arizona, because Arizona right now, I mean, if Arizona by the time you get to, was it week 5? If Arizona has an above 500 record, I can see them being favorites at home.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Arizona's, yes, they could. Yes, I got it. 2 for $29 is $14.50 a beer. I don't know where I threw 18 out. That's my bad.
You had that number on the mind or something.
I don't know what I was looking at. Maybe I saw 18, the number somewhere, and just blurted that out. But it's $14.50. I mean, I saw the guy right. 2 for $29 is not 18, and I'm like, no, it's $14.50.
Maybe you added shipping and handling.
Right. Oh man, 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. Listen, I think that the Eagles hype is going to be crazy based on what we saw, but we got to remember not to get too crazy about what we saw in a win. Just like I said, well, they did win last week, but not to get too crazy about what we saw in a game that you thought they struggled in. All right? More Sports Bash coming up. 609-403-0973. Text board, keep it going. If you're listening on the mobile app, message us through the app on your phone. And we got a lot of people watching the show on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, powered by BFA Sports. Get in on the video. If you're a bar or restaurant, you can put us on inside, enjoying the people who are already a part of the video chat. We're brought to you by your Delaware Valley Acura. With new inventory arriving daily, find your award-winning Acura at your new local Delaware Valley Acura dealer. Reserve yours today. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash. Don't forget, download the app, win ZZ Top tickets. I'll have 5 pairs. We'll announce the winner on Friday, and I'll give you a chance to enter to win Eagles Commanders Monday Night Football tickets for November 14th. More Sports Bash coming up on 97.3 ESPN.
Better than that first cup of coffee in the morning. It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekdays starting at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig reminding you to kick off football season at FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's to get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or older to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wow.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
Not your past with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. So bring any trade and drive home in a new Kia today with peace of mind. Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
On approved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
244 Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. A lot of Eagles. Keep the text coming. 609 403 0973, 609 403 0973. If you're watching the live video on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel powered by BFA Sports, listen on the free mobile app. A lot of people entering for the ZZ Top tickets. Use the app to enter. We'll announce 5 winners on Friday's show. All right, Frank Klose from 97.3 ESPN.com is here as we take a look at the quick Phillies mailbag. Phils, let's take a look at where they are. Taking on the Blue Jays for a quick little 2-gamer here, Frank. We talked about this yesterday with Mike McGarry, and he said on Friday's show that the Mets were leaking transmission fluid. And I wonder from you, we're wondering, he thought the Mets were leaking transmission fluid. How would you describe where the Phillies currently are?
Well, the Phillies so far have lost 1 series in just 1 series. Now, of course, it was against their division rival, the Braves.
1 second, Frank. Working on something here real quick. All right, let me hit that button, and we should have Frank here in just a second. Frank, there you go. All right, Frank. Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Can you hear me? Okay, so the Phillies are indeed, they are leaking a little bit of oil, but it was just 1 series. So I guess my question will be not so much how they did in that 1 series, but how do they do in the next series? The Braves, very good team. You're talking about the Phillies' success dating back to June 1st. The Braves have outplayed the Phillies since June 1st, if you thought that was possible, and eliminated up to at one point a 10-game deficit to the Mets. I think the Braves are a very dangerous team. That said, Phillies got to win some of these games. They didn't have to win with a sweep in Atlanta. They really should have won at least one. You would have liked. And now in Philadelphia this week, you got to hope being at home will help the Phillies show up a little bit better. But this is a crucial week. Phillies need to beat the Blue Jays. The Phillies need to beat the Braves. They don't need to be 7-0, but ideally 4-3 or 3-4. And I know you don't want to hope for winning 3 games out of 7, but the Milwaukee Brewers, they show their strong moments. They too are leaking oil. But the Mets got Max Scherzer back. The Mets got Tyler McGill back. I think they're much better off than they were a couple weeks ago. And Mike, you are actually muted for me now.
The fact that you've got to play the Braves 4 more times, how much of a concern is that?
Yeah, it is concerning if the Phillies don't show up. Now, what worries me, I suppose, would be these young players who, when there were no expectations, stepped up and played out of this world. Now, are these young players going to approach this series like, oh no, I better not blow it? Or are they going to have some confidence and go into it expecting to do what they've done throughout the year? So the Bryson Stotts, you're relying heavily on Nick Maton right now. Alec Boehm. How are these guys going to react in this very, very important series? How's Aaron Nola going to react, right? Aaron Nola's been the one that gets the criticism for not being a big game pitcher. Well, is he going to show up big in this series against the Braves? I think that's what the Phillies fans need to be looking for here. And by the way, the Mets, who you mentioned were leaking oil, they took care of the Brewers last night. They may continue to take care of the Brewers. So the Phillies might be okay. They just need to be better than the Brewers and or the Padres. Now, the Brewers kind of have a lighter schedule down the stretch, so hopefully they can get some separation from the Brewers here this week.
Frank, big question from James. Has there been a more important week in recent Phillies history?
Last several years, the Phillies seem to have blown it down the stretch. You might have thought the weeks were important. You know, remember a couple years ago when the Phillies could have won 1 game in San Francisco, made the playoffs. They failed to do it. I think with all that, there's been an accumulation of frustration. It's been, that's Gabe Kapler and Joe Girardi. They didn't get it done. And there's been an accumulation of money. The Phillies spent extra money this offseason trying to make up for some of their past mistakes. And you couple that with the fact that the Phillies had this meteoric rise after starting out so slowly. The expectation there is that they had better win. And so there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. So yes, the Phillies absolutely need to execute. They need to win some. Really this last 16 games, ideally they go 10-8 and they finish with 90. I think that's guaranteed to get them in. 8-8 might work, but you can't be less than that. You can't go into this. You can't go limping into the postseason, right? Because the hot team is the one that often wins.
Barry wants to know what the Phillies will do with their rotation. Zach Wheeler's supposed to be back. How's it stack up? The Syndergaard, Bailey Falter. It's a big topic of conversation recently.
So this will actually kind of work out. So the Phillies have the extra arm in the bullpen, really on the roster, because the rosters did expand and they were able to take a 14th pitcher. So what they're going to do is they let us know on Sunday, they are going to start Zach Wheeler on Wednesday, and he will be piggybacked by Noah Syndergaard. Now, this isn't just saying that Noah Syndergaard is going to the bullpen. They're basically both going to warm up like they're going to start that day. And after they do that for 2 starts, the third Zach Wheeler start is on a day of a doubleheader, and the idea will be that Noah Syndergaard starts the second game. So you hope that you get Wheeler going these next couple appearances by Syndergaard, and Syndergaard gives you enough innings behind Wheeler to kind of fill the game. You do that 2 times, then hopefully you can get Zach Wheeler deeper into the game soon thereafter, and especially on that doubleheader day, will help them manage that doubleheader day a little bit better. And Bailey Falter staying in the rotation. He's earned it. I think that's very, very fair to say. He got the early hook the other day, which I didn't necessarily love that much. They didn't want him to face Austin Riley, so they pulled him with 4 2/3, I believe it was, or 4 1/3. But Bailey Falter has earned the opportunity to start down the stretch. So more arms is better. And don't forget Zach Eflin's around too.
Quickly, couple quick notes. What do we know about Nick Castellanos?
Well, it sounds like he had a little bit of a setback, and I think this is tough because he was batting over 300 over his last 30 games. So they have not gotten that offensive reinforcement from Matt Vierling and Dalton Guthrie combined. They got some better defense, which has helped them a couple times, but you really saw them struggle to score those runs. Those oblique injuries, you can't mess with them because if you strain it again, you're going to be out even longer. So a typical oblique strain is a 4-week injury. Now, they said this was very, very mild, so I think they're treating him with baby gloves, though, because, again, you re-aggravate that, you could be out for a significant time, and you could lose him for the whole time. So they really want him back for the playoffs. Ideally, though, they have his veteran bat that they spent a lot of money on in that middle of that lineup these last couple of weeks.
All right, Frank Klose, 97.3 ESPN.com, Phillies Insider. Phillies down the stretch they come. Blue Jays for 2, 4 against the Braves. This could be the most important week of the season. These 6 here could determine whether this playoff drought ends. The schedule lightens up at the end, but these 6 right here starting tonight with the Blue Jays. And by the way, these are the last 6 home games of the year, right?
Correct. Last 7. 6, excuse me. 6. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's only 2 games against the Blue Jays, 4 against the Braves. That's it. And by the way, I wouldn't sleep on that final series in Houston, too. Houston could have clinched some home field, and if they do, they want to line up that rotation right. But, I mean, that could work to the Phillies' advantage. It could work against them, too, if they're trying to get over that hump to win the home field advantage. So, tough series in Houston to end the season as well.
All right, Frank. Well, we'll see what happens. These 6, very important. Of course, we'll do it again next week right here on the Mailbag. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Frank Klose, our 97.3 ESPN.com. Phillies Insider with you here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. I want to forget about the Phils. I want to see this team get into the playoffs, play some October baseball. There's nothing better, but the excitement, last night, the Eagles really has pushed the Phillies to the side big time. We got this text message I want to address, 609-403-0973. He says, hi, Mike. Josh, yesterday the talk was about Gannon and the D. We had a history of great D coaches. So last night, I know it's early in the season, but 1, the D had a great game. I concur. 2, our quarterback played on fire. I concur. 3, we won a big game on a big stage, didn't choke. I concur. 4, the team really was well prepared. I concur. No, other than the penalties, it was a plus for all. That's from John in Courthouse. John, I can't really disagree with anything that you just brought up there. The D played great. The quarterback played great. They were on the big stage. I thought they were well prepared, both offensively and defensively. I thought they just absolutely waxed Minnesota in terms of the coaching and preparation. I can't argue with anything you just said, but what I can argue with is, well, no, I can't argue. I want a 7th caller right now. 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. If you're caller number 7, you're entered to win Eagles Commanders club box seats for Monday Night Football against the Washington Commanders at the Link. So be caller 7 right now. 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. Caller 7 right now. You are entered to win club box tickets. You get a pair of club box seats for Monday Night Football as Carson and the Commanders come back to Philadelphia. Caller 7, good luck. We'll see you all on Happy Hour Friday, October 28th at Garden State Beer Company.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. the city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all that Claridge has to offer.
$10 on our special happy hour food menu, Chickies and Pete's.
South Jersey's home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, me too. WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
3 o'clock, Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Jerry and Ventnor. Jerry! Congratulations, Jerry. You have a chance to win Eagles Commanders tickets. We hope to see you out at Garden State Brewery, the beer company, White Horse Pike, Galloway. That'll be happy hour Friday, October 28th. We packed the place the last time. Jerry and Ventnor, we'll see you there. We'll see all our qualifiers. You all have a shot to win Eagles Club Box tickets. Thanks to Garden State Beer Company. We'll do another qualifier next hour here on the Sports Bash Live 97.3 ESPN. John McMullen. Of course, he's the host of Birds 365. This morning, he was up early, probably home late, as he breaks down what he saw last night. Last week, John, we had a lot of overreaction. We had the opportunity to kind of complain about a win. Well, this time there was a win, and I don't know how much complaining we had. So let's kind of pick your brain on what we saw last night, my friend. How are you?
Doing well. Yeah, a little bit tired, but I'm going to hope that the people who win your contest don't have to do it on a Monday night. Let's ban Monday Night Football.
It is a Monday night. We're giving away Eagles Commanders tickets. Monday night, man. Although you got to tell us.
I apologize to the listeners.
No, but the fans, I mean, that place was electric last night.
Yeah, it was, and that was part of it. That's one of the reasons I picked the Eagles. I thought they'd win the game. I knew the place would be electric for the home opener. I do think that's a difficult environment to play in. Obviously, Minnesota didn't handle it well. But I don't think anybody saw the Eagles dominating the way they did. It was really the first 30 minutes, and the second half was about, the Eagles kind of took their foot off the gas, and understandably so, because the game was over. And Minnesota had a couple opportunities, but just couldn't take advantage, just played poorly.
You had mentioned, hey, to keep that in mind, that the sound in Detroit was a factor in the game. The sound in Philadelphia was a factor in the game. But, it's hard to say, where that game, kind of the Eagles grasped control. But was there a moment for you that kind of stood out as to, when they kind of grabbed control of that game and never let it go? Because last week they did grab control of the game and then they let it go. Why this time different?
Well, I think the play where you kind of knew it was going to go their way was, I think, and I was writing about this. It was the seventh, I think, offensive play of the game. Eagles just got their first illegal man downfield penalty. It was 3rd and 13. Minnesota has an opportunity to get off the field. A.J. Brown's wide open in that zone defense. They're playing 19-yard gain, score 5 plays later, they're off and running. Yeah, it was a poor game plan from the Vikings' perspective. Clearly, they wanted to limit Jalen Hurts' running ability and force him to beat them from the pocket, and he beat them from the pocket. He completed 83% of his passes. And he was still able to do some things with his legs as well. But, Next Gen Stats put out the Eagles separation, the receivers way over, all their receivers way over the NFL average. So I don't know what they were trying to do defensively. A lot of quarters coverage, a lot of blown coverage. Bad game plan by a rookie coach, bad performance, and the Eagles took advantage, and they deserve credit for it.
What do we say about Jalen Hurts last night? I mean, is this one of those games? Is that the ceiling game? Like, hey, now we know what he can do. Did he take a step before our very eyes to the next level of player? What do you make of the performance he put on last night? Because that was probably the best performance that we've ever seen him have, throwing the football anyway.
Yeah, it was his best game as a pro, throwing the football. I don't think there's any question. So then you kind of ask yourself, all right, what was it? Was he that good, or was the Minnesota defense that bad? It's probably a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. I think it was ironic. He started the game with 11 straight completions. I think his 12th pass was his best pass of the game.
I agree. The one to Goddard.
Yeah. Tremendous pass, and it ended up being incomplete. The receivers were so open. You look at the Quez Watkins touchdown. I mean, he's open by 10, 15 yards. Is that a great pass? No. Did he see? Did he make the right read? Did he stress the right areas of the defense? Yes. A lot of those, Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, always open. So it's still early. You talked about the overreaction in week 1, going in one direction. You shouldn't overreact this direction either, because eventually there's going to be a defense, and I don't know who it's going to be that, and think about Todd Bowles in Tampa last year. Nobody has tried that yet. Now, maybe they don't have confidence in their ability to pull that type of scheme off, but somebody's going to try it. And then I think you're going to get a better handle on where Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback and as a player. But he was great. And I never understood this sentiment that, and people said it last year, well, he never beat a good team. He never beat a good team. He never beat a good team. That's what the NFL is. You're supposed to beat the teams you're better than. And then you hope you get good enough and sharp enough to kind of push the teams that are probably a little bit better than you, or more talented than you, or better coaching, or whatever. And ultimately, we're going to see where the Eagles land. But I wouldn't get too hyped. That was a bad performance by the opponent yesterday.
Well, and I guess it's funny you bring that up, a bad performance by the opponent yesterday. Somebody texted in earlier and asked, hey, when's the next time? I look at their schedule and I'm like, I don't see a team on here that they're going to be an underdog against. I mean, Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona, Dallas.
And that's part of it. This might be a situation where you're going into the playoffs and saying, all right, whomever it might be down the road, Tampa Bay, we'll see if the Rams can get things corrected. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers can get things corrected. There's going to be somebody else who's good. And you might not know until that game. And that's maybe when you get tested. What you can say is this is a good team. The Eagles have a good team. Are they a great team? I don't think they've been tested yet, and they're probably not going to be tested for a while. to be honest, if you look at the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be
Although-
tested in certain, like you say, John, it's week to week. Some matchups are different. Some teams just match up with you better because of their personnel, where they're strong, where you're not. But there's not a team on here. The only one I can think of is at Arizona because you're on the road. The games that you have at home are Green Bay. I mean, maybe Green Bay by then will be a team we're talking about for the number 1 seed. New Orleans is late in the year. I mean, everything else is a bunch of I can't see a game where they're going to be.
That was probably a bad word because they got tested in Detroit. They did. They managed to get out of there with a win, and that was impressive. That to me was more impressive than what happened yesterday. It really was. Ultimately, I saw both of those games. I saw both of those teams. I think Detroit is more talented than Minnesota, and people think that's crazy because coming into the season they thought the exact opposite, but. Detroit's the team with a good offensive line, and Detroit's the team that can do some things. And I think you saw it, and part of it is playing at home versus playing on the road, as we said. Washington this week, it is going to be more difficult against division opponents, even though we all look at Washington and the Giants, who are 2-0, but nobody believes in them, and they shouldn't, and say they're not talented teams yet. Or good enough yet from a personnel standpoint, but they do know how the Eagles play, and teams outside their division aren't used to it. So I think just from that perspective, it becomes a little bit more difficult against Washington than playing teams from the NFC North. Division games are always a little bit tougher for that reason. So they'll be tested, but they're a good football team. I wouldn't overreact to that performance.
I agree. No, I agree. Let's keep the level head here because obviously injuries can occur and things happen. But it was almost like the Eagles saw everything they did wrong last week and worked on it. What a thought, right? Hey, and I don't say they did it wrong, but look, last week they didn't spread the ball around. That first drive was a clinic of spreading the ball around. You want to get involved? You want to get involved? Hey, how about you? It was like Oprah was out there. You get a pass and you get a pass. I mean, he really spread the ball around last night. So they showed, hey, we're more than just a one-trick pony on offense.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was interesting because you have these vast differences. Detroit week 1, second in blitz percentage in the entire NFL. They just kept coming and coming and coming. And Minnesota week 1 was second in zone coverage. They didn't do any blitzing. And I haven't seen the numbers yet for yesterday, but I imagine it was even less. All they did was play quarters and cover 6 and blown coverages left and right. So it's been this interesting disconnect. So they basically came in. That was the plan. They basically came in and said, all right, you're going to have to beat us throwing the football. You're not going to beat us the way you beat Detroit with Jalen Hurts carrying it 17 times. And the beautiful thing about Jalen Hurts is he still got 2 touchdowns on the ground, even though they had zone coverage all day because they wanted eyes on the quarterback. And then, they just did a bad job. And you see that all around the NFL. I mean, you saw it with Baltimore and all the blown coverages against Tua. Everybody's playing this type defense and they're blowing coverages left and right. And that's the irony. It's designed to limit big plays, and then you're giving up big plays. So why are you being so, you're trying to prevent somebody like Quez Watkins to run behind your defense, and you just drop the coverage, and he's open by 10, 15 yards. So it's kind of a head scratcher why so many teams are going in this direction, but. Things that.
If he plays like that, John, they're gonna have to figure something. If he throws the ball with the confidence, accuracy, and decision making he did last night, they're gonna have to come up with something new.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. And Tampa Bay already did go back to the play. They did. It's interesting to me. Todd Bowles came up with the sort of blueprint, and nobody has tried it yet. So I'm going to be interested to see when somebody tries it. Look, I know people get angry at me because they want to But, I mean, those you say he threw it with confidence. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Guys are open by 5-10 yards, according to next stats. Of course you're going to throw the football confidently.
All right. We had talked yesterday about the defense and John Gannon. And was it Gannon? Was it the lack of execution? Did we get a clear answer to that question in last night's performance?
I mean, I think we did. Yeah, the funniest thing to me is people think John Gannon changed his defense from week 1 to week 2. Oh, look, he changed his entire defense. He's more aggressive. No, they succeeded on first down. So, number one, they tackled, right? They didn't have 14 missed tackles. TJ Edwards had a great game. They stymied Dalvin Cook, which I thought was going to happen because I thought they were going to do the correction. And then, once it becomes second and third and long, then you can get more aggressive. And then you can bring more people. Now, they did do an interesting tweak with Darius Slay, who had one of the best games I've ever seen a cornerback play. And I mean, ever. So when we're talking, people are saying about Jalen, how good he was, times that by 10 for Darius Slay. In this environment, and by that I mean the modern NFL, the new age NFL. So I'm not talking about Deion Sanders, who played in a different era. I'm not even talking about Darrelle Revis. In this era, where cornerbacks are handcuffed and defense as a whole are handcuffed so much, I have never seen a more dominant performance by a cornerback. He had 2 interceptions. He should have had 3. He dropped one.
Maybe more.
He could have had 4. He was really close to 4, and he was in the realm of 5. And consider this, Mike. That quarterback threw 6 interceptions in 17 games last season. I mean, he had 5 pass breakups against what some people think is the best receiver in the NFL. It was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was in the hip of everybody. He was covering. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. That performance by a cornerback.
He was outstanding last night. You're absolutely right. But Maddox played well. He has the pick. I thought TJ Edwards had a really good game. But I want to ask you about, were they getting pressure? And how much pressure did he send? How would you kind of break that down of whether or not because they did blitz a little bit. I wouldn't say a ton, but I thought he dialed them up in some key spots that he normally wouldn't do. Now, I say key spots, it was 24-7, but they're in the red zone, and that's not an area where he usually will send. And I'm wondering if he's like, you know what? Here's a time to try. Remember I talked about opening the toys and not reading the instructions? Well, maybe he's like, maybe this is the time when I can try this. 24/7, they sent some blitz.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I like that analogy when he threw it at me. I do like that. But I think it's more to do with, a lot of second and third and longs. And then you can feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff. Plus, yes, in game, because you saw, when the Eagles get the big lead. And by the way, remember the difference between Detroit. They had a big lead in Detroit. But what did Detroit do? They kept running the football. Well, Minnesota did what everybody does. They forgot about the running game. They threw it away. They ignored it. And Kevin O'Connell talked about that after the game. He made a big mistake. And they could pin their ears back. So all these things factor into it. They were more aggressive, but I think they were 13th in the NFL blitz percentage in the first week. So, they were in the top half of the league in the first week, and I don't think people realize that. They were just more successful. So when you're more successful, it looks better. And I always say the scheme, and I think I brought it up with you. I brought it up on other shows. Look, when Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks were doing it in Chicago, it looked really aggressive because they were dominating up front. So it looked more aggressive, but it was the same defense with the four rushers up front, the multiple looks up front, the 5-man front, the 4-man fronts. But it looks more aggressive, but you still have the umbrella coverage on the back end. The only difference yesterday was because of the way Slade was playing, they let him not completely travel with Jefferson, but every time he was outside, they tried to get play on him. And that was a little bit different than what they typically do. But that was because of the respect they had for Jefferson.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they shut the run game down. They got some pressure up the middle. They sent a little extra, but the guys played and executed. I thought that was the biggest thing. You didn't see a whole heck of a lot of missed tackles, right? I mean, Fletcher Cox, I thought, by the way, probably played one of his better games in a while. He had the sack fumble, but I thought he got a lot of pressure up the middle, and it caused Cousins. Cousins didn't want to be there last night.
No, he had a really poor game, and that's what I'm saying. So what is it, the chicken or the egg? Did the Eagles play really well? Did the opponent play really poorly? The Vikings had 4 drops. Irv Smith dropped a touchdown. Who knows? The game was 21. I think that was, their last chance to maybe make a run. You talk about NBA teams always make a run. NFL teams usually make a run. That would have made it 21-14 at halftime. Dropped a touchdown.
The Smith. And by the way, he should never be wearing 84.
That's a good point. Certainly not with that team.
No. I mean, what are you doing giving that guy 84? No, only on that team. I don't care on any other team. You can't wear Randy Moss's number.
Yeah.
And then drop the pass. But guess what, John? I thought the Sipos tackle, I mean, how big of a play is that?
That's what I was going to bring up. I mean, that's a cornerback. And, Aaron Sipos is a heck of an athlete for a punter. For people that don't know, he used to play rugby. And that was another play. And he chases him down. If he doesn't, that's a touchdown. And obviously they can't cash in because of interceptions. The defense did a tremendous job in the second half because the Vikings had all these, they had the block kick. They had the Jordan Hicks interception, which was Kenny Gainwell's fault. And they couldn't get that in because the quarterback was just throwing the football up for grabs. So there were some opportunities for Minnesota to get back in the game. And they dropped 5 passes that I was counting. So you look at it, we talk about the Eagles. Okay, 14 missed tackles in the first game. They corrected. If they just catch those 5 passes, they're probably in the football game. But they didn't. Mm-hmm. So you don't execute. It's what happens.
Yeah, well, and it's a good reminder of last week. If you just make some tackles, you didn't, and that's why you gave up 35. If Minnesota catches a couple balls, they didn't. Maybe that game's a little different. Same with them the week before. I mean, if Green Bay catches a ball, maybe we're not looking at Minnesota entering this game quite the same. But I think we saw maybe one of the more complete and done. Now, I guess I could ask you this question: they didn't score a point in the second half. Did you said, you take the foot off the gas a little bit, but did you have a problem that they didn't seem all that interested in scoring in the second? Does that not bother you at all?
No, it doesn't. They lost their sense of urgency. And I understand it because that game was completely in control. Now, if Minnesota cashed in on one of those opportunities, if Smith catches the ball, if they turn the block kick into a touchdown, if they turn the interception into a touchdown. Remember, they start the Hicks interception. They started inside the 15. I forget exactly. They were really close. If they turn any of those into touchdowns, I think the sense of urgency is back, and the Eagles probably just go right down the field because, I mean, Minnesota's playing that same defense. They weren't changing. So
no, they were not.
Guys were going to be running. Yeah, guys were going to be running wide open in the entire game. And so I from that perspective, I wasn't really concerned. I felt if they got threatened, that sense of urgency would have been back, and they would have responded.
All right. We'll see Washington on the road this week. Carson Wentz and the Commanders.
Carson Wentz.
That's right.
By the way, did you see the 3 total offense leaders in the NFL right now?
It's a Tua. Has to be one, right?
Tua's number 1. Jalen Hurts is number 2. Carson Wentz is number 3.
They put up some big numbers so far. They're playing from behind a lot, right?
Well, he's, a typical Carson. He makes big plays and then he makes big mistakes.
Yeah, it's a shame. Somebody else.
He can still. I think this is going to be a more interesting game than Monday night. Because it's a division rival. FedEx isn't one of those places we talked about home field. Ford Field was, at least for the season opener. It's not typically. Lincoln Financial Field is always a difficult place to play. FedEx Field is not, but it is earlier in the season. Typically, when the Eagles go there late, they take over. Their fans take over. I don't think they're going to be able to take over this early in the season, at least not completely. But more because the Commanders almost said the word you can't say. More because the Commanders understand how the Eagles play. And it's always more difficult when you play teams that are familiar with you.
All right. Well, we'll be breaking that game down later on this week, John McMullen. So let's iron this out. So I'll be on with you tomorrow at 8:20.
8:20, yeah. The Eagles, last night at the game, they said Nick Sirianni was going to go early his press conference, and now he's going at 1 o'clock.
Did he do nothing today? I didn't see him today.
No, nothing today. Short week. Coaches have too much work to do, yada, yada, yada. So
I'm okay with
he did not speak today.
I'm okay.
I am not. He should be speaking today.
You think so?
Attention to detail. Get it done. Yeah. It's part of the job. Get it
What
done.
did you want to ask today that you didn't get in last night?
It's not the point. I always say, it's funny because obviously we get to talk to the coach after games, and then typically we get to on a Sunday game we get to talk to the coach on Monday, so it's the same thing. But a lot of times coaches will default, especially after losses, they will default to, I got to watch the film, that type of thing, and then that's what the day after press conference is for. They don't have that excuse.
Gotcha.
And I have to at least.
I understand in a loss, but if in a game like last night, well, what more do you need to ask?
Yeah, well, there's a few. I mean, if you want to nitpick, those illegal downfield penalties, they've been going on for a year. They can't get that right.
Fair, yes.
Devontae Smith with the OPI, those rub routes, they seem to have difficulty with, and that continues. So there's some stuff. And then, special teams. The block kick is obvious, but those mortar kicks Minnesota was doing on purpose because Quez Watkins can't, he did a great job.
They got to find a kick
receiver.
and punt returner.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. He cannot return kicks.
No.
And everybody knows it except the Eagles. So that's some nitpicking for.
Do they know it or do they not have another option? Do they not know it or do they not have another option?
I think they know it. They're hoping, because of his long speed, that eventually it'll click for him. But you got to go. You can't hesitate as a kick returner. You got to go north-south. And I'm to the point where, Boston Scott should be the kick returner. You're not going to be great at it, but if you kick the ball to the goal line, he's going to get you 20, 25 yards, and that's better than what they have right now.
All right, John McMullen, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, Birds 365 on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. I'll be there at 8:20. We'll talk some Eagles, Commanders, probably a little bit more about this game and more. All right, bud, we'll talk to you then.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, Johnny Mac here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. I'm Mike Gill. Boy, oh boy, we got so much more to talk about on this game. Continue the text messages. Keep them coming. 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. If you're watching live video, you can message us through the chat on the video. If you're listening on the free mobile app, got a lot of app messages today. This one is from One Step in Lewes, Delaware. How about the drive before the half for the field goal? I'm glad he brought that up. I do want to address that. JC and Absekins listening on the free mobile app. Did you see how many times their quarterback had to try to hear plays from the bench? Their crowd was loud. Yes, all good points. I'm glad you guys brought some of these points up that we can bring into the mix. All right. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash. When we come back, is Jalen Hurts really an MVP candidate already? One national pundit thinks so. You'll hear what he said coming up next.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Check out Chicky and Pete's all-new happy hour every weekday starting at 4 p.m. Enjoy select craft beers, seltzers, and wines for $5, plus feature cocktails for $7 on our special happy hour food menu. We call it the Bar Board, with world-famous crab fries, tasty pretzel nuggets, and get ready, Curds Aroni, with crispy bacon and Dijon cheese sauce. Chicky and Pete's all-new happy hour every weekday starting at 4 p.m. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. College football is back. Come join us for XL College Football Saturdays every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. We have you covered. Ice cold domestic draft personal pitchers for just $5. Plus a wing special for you and your crew like no other. 40 classic or boneless Chicky and Pete's award-winning wings for just $60. Choose from buffalo, barbecue, dry rub, or the new kid on the wing block, spicy Thai peanut wings. XL College Football Saturdays, only from Chickies and Pete's.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, 335 Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget to go to our website, 973ESPN.com. You can win the ZZ Top tickets. Enter to win. I got 5 pairs I'm going to be giving away on Friday's show. ZZ Top at Ocean Casino. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com to enter. Mike Gill with you till 6 tonight. We've got a busy show. Adam Caplan has football at 4. I've been telling you for a while now, and I can't wait to utilize this opportunity with my friends at American Airlines from Atlantic City International Airport. You know, the airport and American Airlines, ACY, they're your gateway to the world. ACY is now your one-stop ticket to over 90 domestic and international destinations. You can go see your favorite team's games anywhere and leave right from ACY. Save time and money. Avoid the fees and hassle of parking at the big city airport when you start your next vacation on American Airlines from ACY. Excitement is just one stop away on American Airlines from ACY. Book today at AA.com. All right, boys. Got some text messages that just came in that I want to jump back on. I'm glad people One Step in Lewes, Delaware said, how about the drive before the half for the field goal? You know, it felt like the Eagles didn't care about scoring there. It was almost like they got guilted into doing it. Like, all right, you want to let us go up the field? I guess we'll try. They weren't trying to score there. They just were so proficient that they ended up getting the field goal.
Yeah, it just seemed like to me like they were just trying to run the clock and be smart about it, unlike the Rams on Sunday. I think the Eagles might have saw the Rams game on Sunday, be like, we don't want to do that, so let's try to be responsible. But because they were so, like you said, efficient, that they were like, well, we're here now, so we might as well keep going.
Yeah, no, I think the fact that they executed so well in that last, what was that, like 40-some seconds they had? Something like that, right? There was like 40 seconds left before the quarter ended. It was an 8-play, 75-yard drive. They had it with 1:14 is what they had left. They ended up, I say 40 seconds because it was after the Eagles called timeout, and then they decided, like, I don't think we're going for it. And then Minnesota called timeout. That was with 28 seconds left. Minnesota calls timeout, and they're like, well, you guys aren't going to try to score, then we'll try to get the ball back. And then after Minnesota called the timeout, you got the Hurts play to Smith for 16 yards, and then that's when Philadelphia said, all right, you want to let us try to score? Then we'll call timeout. That was an interesting little chess match there. Then he has to play to Goddard. By the way, Rothstein had the parlay last night. Anytime scorer, Hurts, Watkins, and Goddard.
Oh.
So it's like you had the hardest one out of the way, and he couldn't get Goddard in. He had a nice chunk of change coming his way had he hit that.
By the way, really quick, I still haven't seen any of the Jalen Hurts can't throw people today.
I haven't seen any of the you guys are too high on this team. This team stinks.
He doesn't have an NFL
Take
arm.
off your goggles. I don't know. Where's those guys
Yeah,
at?
what happened to those people?
You do have this guy. Mike, the Vikings are the Cowboys, always overhyped and overrated. Kirk Cousins is Dak Prescott. These guys are not winners. 10 years as starters on good offenses, and they only have one playoff win each. They are stat patters against bad teams and terrible against winning teams. I don't think it's fair to put Prescott and Cousins in the same.
Yeah, I think Dak is closer to a top 10 quarterback. Cousins is nowhere near a top 10 quarterback.
Well, the sad part is in this league, he probably is.
Probably not. He's
He's
probably
probably
top
no, I
15.
said yesterday 15. He's probably around 13, 12,
Yeah,
somewhere
he's
there.
somewhere in that range. The thing with this league
I don't
is,
think it's fair to say the Vikings are overhyped. They're not the Cowboys. Nobody cares about the Minnesota Vikings.
yeah, nobody in the national media is drooling over the Vikings.
What they have is, and this is where people get trapped, and I'll agree, is they have good skill players.
Yes.
And this is where people get trapped into good skill players, meaning that you have a good team. They have good skill players. Their line stinks, and their defense is blah.
That, and also the fact that I think people are in some ways parlaying the Zimmer era into Kevin O'Connell. Like, the Zimmer era was this very specific. You hired this guy to be a defensive-minded coach. He wanted to run the ball with Adrian Peterson. Then the one year they got to the NFC Championship game, lost to the Eagles, and then they became a horrible disappointment defensively for a few years because Zimmer was supposed to be this defensive guy, and their defense went from a top 10 defense to bottom third of the league. That's why he got fired. So I am personally not going to levy against Kevin O'Connell the Mike Zimmer era.
No, nor should you, by the way. But this team, the Vikings in general, I think what he's trying to say is they're always overrated. It's mainly because I think people look at skill players, and they have Jefferson, and they have
Sure.
Dalvin Cook, and
You play fantasy football.
Thielen is another one. Thielen's a pretty good player.
You play fantasy football, you immediately think of the skill players first.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, it's Cole from LBI. I definitely have been one of the more critical Howie Roseman guys over the past few years. I think he extended some guys he shouldn't have, didn't like his moves at wide receiver, linebacker, and safety, and he's poor at drafting in the first couple of rounds of the draft. But this year, I like what he did with A.J. Brown, the new linebackers, and getting Gardner from the Saints. He's built a great team, but it could have been better. Since 2019, the only draft picks from the first two rounds that I like are Hurts and Sanders, Dillard a bust, Rieger a bust, and I would have taken Parsons over Devonta Smith. Well, that's interesting. If you would have had Parsons instead of Devonta Smith. I thought about that the other day, actually. Next is Jordan Davis. He can only play 30% of the snaps. Imagine if 3 of those 4 first-round picks were Pro Bowl-level players. This team would be unstoppable. All right, well, there's a lot there.
There's a lot there. Where do you want to start?
This is where I want to start. We have to stop. Okay, you've missed on first and second round picks, sometimes here, sometimes there. We have to stop basically. But first off, the Eagles have done very well. Landon Dickerson was a second round pick. That guy dominated last night. You watch him, he absolutely dominated. I'm trying to think. I don't have their draft boards up in front
Really
of my
quick,
head.
I put this on Twitter earlier today, Mike. 9 of the 11 regular starters for the Eagles were all drafted by this organization.
Right. We are too fixated on what round they're drafted in.
The round is not important.
I mean, yeah, would I want to hit on my first and second round picks and not my 7th and 4th? Sure. But if you're getting production from your 4th and 7th, then you're probably, if you're hitting on your first and second, it's likely that like it all balances out sometimes. Look, Roseman's made a lot of mistakes, but he's done way more good than bad.
Right.
And look, theoretically, if they could have had Justin Jefferson instead of Rieger, absolutely, they could have. But
you might not have drafted Devonta Smith the next year.
Well, you maybe draft Parsons instead. But put it this way. Minnesota has Justin Jefferson and still can't figure out a way to become a better team. Sometimes you make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, and it helps you become the team you are now.
Right.
And I think that's where Roseman is. He made mistakes, learned from some mistakes, and now it has helped him put together the team that they currently have. Just because you would have had Justin Jefferson, who knows what would have happened with Carson Wentz 2 years ago when they drafted him. Maybe Jefferson turns out to be a frustrating player because Wentz wasn't that good, and you're like, this guy, you don't know, right? You don't know. I think Jefferson landed in a spot that was great for him, but guess what? Hasn't won anything.
Yeah, what the problem is, people, like you said, they love the skill position so much. They forget that 1 or 2 guys don't win you a championship. Because as you mentioned earlier, Mike, the Vikings offensive line has been average to below average to poor.
That's their biggest problem. That's their biggest problem, and it has been their biggest problem.
I only remember the last time the Vikings had a good offensive line. Brian McKinney was on it.
Jeff in EHT says, I'm here, Josh. I'm still not sold on Hurts as a passer, and I have always said as a passer. He is starting to win me over, though. All right, that's all we ask. Okay. Is that he move the needle for you at all last night?
Yeah, look, I felt there were 4 passes. One of them was negated by a penalty that, to me, are NFL quarterback passes.
Yeah.
And I feel like those passes were perfect examples of what I have heard Greg Cosell from NFL Films bring up, which is when Jalen Hurts sets his feet and has time to throw in the pocket, when he gets good protection, he makes all the NFL throws.
We're going to talk about that with Adam Caplan coming up. More Sports Bash on the way, 97.3 ESPN. Is Jalen Hurts an MVP candidate? I'll have that audio for you. Plus, is the debate settled on Jalen Hurts within the franchise already? You'll hear what Sal Powell said this morning on KJM. I got all that coming up on the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. And don't forget, live video on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel powered by BFA Sports.
We never stop talking Eagles and NFL. It's football at 4, every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
Listen up, South Jersey football fans. Are you interested in solar? Want a free roof? EMT Solar and Roofing has you covered. Visit espnsolar.com to see if your home qualifies for a free roof with solar installation. Don't wait, act now. Start saving thousands and virtually extinguish your electric bill. espnsolar.com is the place to go for your roofing or solar needs. No commitments, no hidden fees. Go to espnsolar.com to see if you qualify.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
350 Sports Bash, 10 till the top of the hour. Adam Caplan, football at 4. Who's in, who's out after 2 weeks? It's already getting tough, man. You watch these games, you're like, do we even have 14 playoff teams? That's one of the problems. I don't think there's 14 worthy playoff teams when I did who's in, who's out. Earlier this morning, if you were listening to KJM, I thought Keyshawn Johnson brought up a very interesting point when he was talking about Jalen Hurts that I don't know that a lot of people would agree with at this point, right? And he believes that Hurts is not only should be believed in at this point, that he should be basically put right there with all these other guys when we start to talk about the MVP race. How many people out there agree with that comment? That you are watching a guy who is, as Keyshawn says, firmly in the MVP conversation. Take a listen.
I don't give a damn about all the other stuff that people care about when at this position. I care about football players. Can that young man help me win? That's all I care about. And he showed me that he is one of those guys putting in another bucket, and he is in that bucket with the MVP candidate for me as of right now in terms of Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I'm sliding him right over there.
I'm sliding him right over there with Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Now, I think people hear Kyler Murray and think, well, he's not any good. If you remember last year, I think for about 8 weeks of the season, he probably was the betting favorite to win the MVP. He said, I don't care about all those other things. Winning. Jalen Hurts has won 9 of 12 last regular season games. He's got to win the playoffs, but that doesn't win you an MVP award, quite frankly. But is he right? Is he firmly in your mind what you saw through 2 weeks? Are you watching a guy who is, in fact, most valuable to his team? Are the Eagles 2-0 without the way Jalen Hurts has played the last 2 weeks? I'm not so sure. But Sal Paolantonio added to the discussion by saying there is no more questions about Hurts. The Eagles have their man.
He settled the debate last night. He is the Eagles franchise quarterback. Debate over. And then he gets up there on the podium to the press and he said, and this is the mentality of a coach's son. He said, we had a hell of a game, but we got a hell of a lot to learn. And that just impressed me. And I think that's what impresses the coaching staff and his players. And Key, you're absolutely right. They love his very understated but earnest and tough leadership style.
That's Sirianni he's talking about, but he said the debate was settled last night. After 2 weeks, Pro Football Focus has Jalen Hurts with the highest passing grade among all NFL quarterbacks. He has the second highest overall offensive grade among quarterbacks in general, trailing only Josh Allen. Through 2 weeks right now, we are watching a guy who has been the reason why the Eagles are winning games. They're not winning despite him or in spite of him. They're winning because of him. So at what point do you, the listener, you, the Eagles fan, and you, the hater, start to say, you know what? Oh, man, this is not good if I hate the Eagles. This guy's pretty good. This isn't good if I was on the side that said, I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I'm talking to the guys who tweeted at me all offseason, right? You got to trade for Russell Wilson. You got to trade for Deshaun Watson. You got to make a trade. This guy's not good enough. Is he surprising you? Are you changing your mind on that? Let me know. 609-403-0973 on the text board, 609-403-0973 0973. That's the text board. And, of course, if you're watching the live video on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, and if you're listening on the free mobile app, you can message us through the app on your phone. Right now, I'm looking for caller number 7. If you're out there, caller 7, 609-573-3776, 609-573-3776. Caller number 7. Right now, you are entered in for a chance to win Eagles Commanders Club Box seats. Yes, Club Box tickets. Pair of tickets to the Monday night game on November the 14th. You must be present to win at Garden State Beer Company on Friday, October 28th for our live broadcast when one lucky winner walks away with Club Box tickets. I can't stress that enough. You get Club Box seats for the Eagles and the Commanders. Yes, Carson is back. Caller 7. Good luck. Adam Caplan has football at 4 coming up next.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
They've got a cakewalk, and even after the bye, they got the Commanders, the Jaguars, the Cardinals, Cowboys, a bye, the Steelers, and the Texans. Their schedule is set up for them to have the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Listen weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, powered in part by the ACUA's Drive Electric events.
If you're thinking about driving an electric vehicle, you probably have lots of questions. Fortunately, the ACUA has lots of answers in their 2 Drive Electric events coming up next Tuesday and Wednesday. Here with more is Rick Dovey, president of the ACUA. Rick, in recognition of National Drive Electric Week, you have a virtual and in-person event. What are they all about?
On Tuesday, September 27th at noon, we will have a whole online event where people can learn about electric vehicles and the financial incentives. The following day in the afternoon, 4 to 6, we have an in-person experience here at our facility, Delilah Road, for people to experience firsthand the vehicles.
Rick Dovey, thanks so much. That's the ACUA's Drive Electric events next Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Powered in part by the ACUA's virtual and in-person Drive Electric events on September 27th and 28th.
You're about to experience the impressive performance of the new Acura MDX Type S. With a powerful turbo V6 engine with 355 horsepower. It has room for the driver and 6 passengers. Also, it's perfect for your family. The new Acura MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Visit your Delaware Valley Acura dealer to find your Acura today.
I wanted to...
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
Local.com for a free local customer analysis where you can see how many local customers in South Jersey you could reach online. Visit townsquarelocal.com and be the Town Square today. That's townsquarelocal.com.
A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is hit! He stumbles! He's down!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Adam Caplan.
I have real confidence that our football operations can once again create a dominant football team.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. And, of course, we bring it to you every day at 4 o'clock right here on the Sports Bash. Adam Caplan is here today from InsideTheBirds.com and the Inside the Birds podcast and the Inside the Birds pre- and post-game show, which was late last night, but probably a lot of positives to talk about. So let's bring Adam into the conversation now here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, and, of course, the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. What's going on, Adam?
Michael, good to see you. Yeah, it was quite the performance by the Eagles. It's funny, on our pregame show, it was Avant, Trey Thomas, who was filling in for Greg Cosell. Boy, they were great. Myself and Mosher. And Jeff picked the Vikings to win that game. In fact, what I didn't say on the air, I was thinking in the back of my mind. I was thinking about saying it, but I didn't. I picked the Eagles. I thought there might be a blowout. I thought the crowd would be a factor. It was. I did actually say that. I thought Kevin O'Connell's first road game outdoors. Remember, they're a team that plays indoors at home. I just thought there was a lot going against Minnesota. Emotional win against the Packers where they beat Aaron Rodgers. Although Rodgers, as we pointed out in our pregame show, without both starting tackles, John Runyon Jr. got hurt in that game. Was one of their starting guards, and they took advantage of it. Where you go on the road here. Eagles' first home game. There's just, to me, there's a lot going against the Vikings in that game, and boy, did it show.
Yeah, let's look at some of the things that were against them. The offense dominated, but let's go with Jalen Hurts. What were the Vikings not able to figure out with Hurts last night? Because it didn't seem that they tried everything. It seems that they came in with a mindset, and it didn't work.
Yeah, so in this type of defense, though, we'll get to the Eagles because that was certainly defensively surprising. Though they're running the scheme is the same, but the guys calling it don't coach. They don't coach it like Vic Fangio. Not even close, by the way. I'm told by multiple people who work for Vic. So what happened was that I don't know why Ed Donatel, the D coordinator for the Vikings, did this. I mean, if you're going to play 4 deep, which is primarily what this scheme does, you have to disguise. You have to make it hard on the quarterback. They did none of that. You could say they were worried about the run, but that has nothing to do with coverage. And he did nothing to disrupt Hurts' timing. The true Fangio defense is disguised with late movement, and they didn't do any of that last night. If they did it, the Eagles it didn't work. Although my understanding is he did very little of it. And Hurts, by the way, here's the key to this thing. It's one thing, Mike, if they gave you room to throw the ball downfield. It's another thing to be accurate. 2 years ago, he's not making these throws accurately. I can tell you that because he wasn't reading the defense correctly 2 years ago. He's better last year, a little better. He's really good now in terms of half field reads. This is what we put on Inside the Birds, our podcast 2 months ago. This is what we were told the offense would look like. It's been exactly what we thought it would be in terms of that. But when you get a chance to make throws, you have to make them. And Carson Wentz, by the way, had similar throws 2 years ago, and he could not make them. He was making them inaccurately, and that's a big difference.
Yeah, Adam, I want to kind of further that and talk about the offensive line and the role that they played in the time that Hurts had, because Hurts, he got a chance to really scan the field last night, man. He had some time.
Yeah, and by the way, just because the Vikings didn't blitz doesn't mean like you're going to win. You actually have to block their front. That's the thing I think some people are missing. They actually did block them very well. In fact, after what happened last week, now I know a lot of it had to do with the blitz, the crowd noise inside Ford Field. I get that. But this game, there were very few mental errors. They had an excellent game offensive line-wise. They graded out very high from what we're told from the coaching tape. And this was, we've got some great notes for our show tomorrow, which is at 6 a.m. Eastern, where we've got tape notes from our sources. We've talked to at least 3 people so far who've watched it. And it's pretty impressive. The reason why most people around the league who really watch the Eagles tape believe that the Eagles have the best offensive line, just watch this tape. If you folks get a chance, I think the tape should go up on NFL.com tonight. But what I'm told is this is one of the most, some plays were so perfectly blocked, it didn't matter. Like if it was like the 85 Bears D line, they just blocked it so well. It was synchronized. It was really impressive. And this is kind of what you expect, Mike, every week, no matter what a team throws at you. The good thing about week one is, Mike, they saw a team that's going to blitz the heck out of them. Yeah, they had some breakdowns, no doubt. It's a fact. But now that they've seen that, they'll adjust. And I'm thinking Jack Del Rio, the D coordinator for the Commandos, as I call them, this week, he's going to have something for Jalen Hurts here and their offensive line.
Last week, we talked about the lack of targets. They didn't spread the ball around. Well, last night, they certainly passed it around the lot last night. It was like, for Winfrey, you get a target, and you get a target, and you get a target. They really spread the ball well. And right off the bats, I mean, their opening script was get everybody involved. So the wide receivers had a big night last night.
Yeah, and look, they got up big at halftime. We'll talk about that in a second, but it was first drive. Let's get Devontae Smith, who had 0 catches on 4 targets in week 1. Let's get him the football. Goddard, who was just the way things worked out, was able to run routes more in this game because they weren't blitzing, which is certain. Again, I'm just Ed Donatell, got a lot of respect for, who coached under Fangio for 10 years. Fangio would never do this. He's not going to let a quarterback just sit back there and play. And then the other thing is, look, the Vikings D line did not win at all. I thought Za'Darius Smith would be a bigger factor. He couldn't get in there. They blocked him. But yeah, you're right. And then it said on our pregame show, we need to see a shot play to Quez Watkins because the Vikings corners are slow. And boy, did they now. Obviously, they had a coverage bust, but you know what? You got to make that throw. You got to throw it accurately. Yeah, it's a pitch and catch throw, but you got to make it. And I was just they came out. I like, by the way, the tempo that they played with. They came out playing tempo offense, which is really what you should do in a game like this. See what the conditions are like with the Vikings, and boy, they did not handle it well. The Vikings.
Adam Caplan, Football at 4, Inside the Birds podcast drops. Of course, you can listen to their reaction. They got the tight end. Goddard, I thought, was involved in the variety of ways. They got the running backs in. I mean, it was really, as we kind of mentioned, they spread the ball around with the receivers, but they got everybody, the tight ends and running backs involved too.
Yeah, Goddard leading the NFL all starting tight ends at average per catch, 17.8, Mike. That's by the way, that's high end for receivers. You notice it's the tight end screens, the rack yards, which are tremendous. He's one of the best running after contact. He's just spectacular. He blocked well. By the way, he and Jack Stoll put in a clinic last night when Stoll was in the game in 12 personnel. They didn't play a lot of that though. By the way, they came out in 11. They were dominant with 11. That was their primary scheme, and that's what we were thinking this year. We talked about this back in March, what we thought the offense would look like. And it's going to be heavier 11. The week 1, they went with 12 a lot. This week, they went heavy 11, and it sure worked. And I like, by the way, where they deployed the pass targets. We'll talk more about that on our show tomorrow morning. But I like the game plan. Shane Steichen, by the way, deserves an award. In fact, both coordinators were terrific in this game for the Eagles.
Yeah, and I already saw, hey, Shane Steichen won't be here next year, but it's only one game, folks. Let's ease it up. The guy who had interviews last year was John Gannon, but he was still getting heavily criticized, but they dominated on defense. Did he do anything different, or did they just execute better?
Yeah, no, he blitzed. I mean, oh my gosh, their cover zero blitzes. They're doing it. Like the crazy thing is, okay, so I got this from a coach, not for the Eagles, a coach from someone else who's already done tape study of the Eagles offense. I talked to someone today who was looking at just a little bit of Eagles tape this morning and said that could not believe that, first of all, that John Gannon blitzed twice in a row with the same blitz. No safety blitz. They blitz up the middle with no deep safety inside the red zone. And Kirk Cousins did nothing. Kevin O'Connell did not have any extra protection. We actually talked about this on our post-game show. We were surprised by it, but this coach happened to mention it. He says, that's not the way that you're supposed to coach that. Very surprising. So, look, they had it going on. This and another thing that's interesting is this game was very well scouted by the Eagles advance group. They got some things they thought they might see. The coaches called phenomenal game. Gannon called the game of his life. This is by far his best coach game. This is, and here's the difference, Mike. Last year at this time, he never would have been this aggressive because he didn't trust his secondary. He trusts what he has. The general manager gave him a lot of talent. They've got two tall safeties who could both run. Two tall corners who both run. They're way more athletic at safety. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson bounced back from last week's game. His first as an Eagle. Remember, he had to learn this defense, Mike, in a week and a half. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
So it all worked last night. To be honest with you, this game, it was a 17-point game. They should have won by 30 plus. They absolutely dominated this game, but the comedy of errors in the second half, that's a little concerning.
Real quick on that, you mentioned, people are texting in like, my opinion that you guys are downplaying the Vikings, like saying that people think that team's really good. I mean, what do we say about the Eagles dominating a team like Minnesota?
No, I was blown away. First of all, Hurts was phenomenal in this game for a half. Now, it wasn't his fault. The second half, Gainwell drops a middle screen, which he has to catch that. That's on him, the player. It's not on the quarterback. This is Hurts' best game. Second half had less than 100 yards, but you got to understand kind of what happened. The penalties in this game, Mike, this is 2 weeks now. 18 penalties in 2 weeks. That's not acceptable. This happened to them last year early on, if you recall, and then they cleaned it up.
Yep.
So and Sirianni did say in his press conference, look, they're going to look at that. You have to. It's embarrassing. Now I remember Bill Pauling, the former Colts GM and obviously in the Hall of Fame, telling me it takes a good 3 weeks for the offense to get on track around the National Football League. He's right. As good as the Eagles' offense was in the first half, they've only scored what? They didn't score in the second half this week, and they didn't score in the fourth quarter last week. I understand it's not a big deal, but they have to kind of look at and making sure they close well. But this is a dominant performance. And again, the score is not really reflective of how much they dominated a Viking team, which, by the way, I picked them to be 8-9. That's where they're going to finish. They're better. They're obviously better than last year. Plus, they actually have a head coach who likes offense, other than Mike Zimmer, of course, is a defensive head coach.
I just want to get your thoughts, too, in the game that Fletcher Cox played. Because he got criticized a lot in week one, and people have been looking at him as, hey, is he on the way down? What did we see last night?
Yeah, we put out last Wednesday morning on our podcast, like we always do. Here's what the tape showed. Cox was effort was poor last week. He got moved off the football, which is something you rarely hear. He and Hargrave did not play well last week. We'll leave it at that. It wasn't just a couple plays. It was too many. Cox was energized. Obviously, the game at home, it helps. Everything worked well. The blitz packages, just the variety of and T.J. Edwards, who was phenomenal in this game. Slay with the best game as an Eagle, I thought. Gannon again. It isn't amazing how everybody brought out their A game. And how about Kaiser White in coverage once again? Now, they had a couple coverage busts. The one on 84, Irv Smith Jr. Remember his dad, Irv Sr., former first-round pick at tight end as well. But Smith drops that touchdown. But, overall, they played really well. What can you say? This is a fairly complete game. It wasn't complete, or they would have scored over 40 points, and the defense would have had a couple coverage busts. But overall, they got to feel pretty darn good against a decent team, an improved team that they dominated.
Well, I will leave you with this, Adam. By the way, Darius Slay was Deion Sanders last night. 1, 2.
Awesome.
Irv Smith has no business wearing number 84 in Minnesota. That's 2.
Randy Moss, yeah.
And 3, somebody texted you this earlier. I looked at the Eagles' schedule. I don't see them being an underdog the rest of the year.
I heard you in the first hour. I heard you for 10 minutes. You were talking about that. It's funny. I actually looked at that this morning after I got up. Just kind of give an idea. I understand it. Every NFL game is a one-game season, and you don't want to get ahead of yourself. But we had said this. We said 2 things once the schedule came out back in whenever it was, May. Jeff and I said we'd be very surprised if the Eagles were not at least an 11-win team. I think I might have had them for 12, something like 12-5 or 11-6. The schedule, if you just look at the way the teams are constructed that on their schedule for this season, last year means nothing. It's all about what the teams look like this year based on coaching changes or roster changes.
Yep.
It just is very favorable. Maybe the best schedule in the National Football League. But,
well, I mean, you had Tennessee who won 13 games last year. They look like a mess right now.
Yeah.
Green Bay is in Philly. New Orleans is here. The one game is on the road is Arizona. Other than that, I don't know where there'll be an underdog.
I know you're right. No, it's a fair point, but you know what? You have to play up to your level. You can't worry about the opponent. And this is a young coaching staff here. This is their second year. And we'll see how they handle success. I just remember talking to one of the players after the 18 season. Yes, they went far. They had a good season, but they were flat sometimes during that season because there was too much entitlement. There was just too much, hey, we just won the Super Bowl. Let's see how this team handles success with this good schedule. We'll see.
All right, Washington this weekend. We'll talk more about that with Adam on Friday's show. Adam, appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, man.
Adam Caplan, Football at 4, Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, and the Inside the Birds pre- and post-game show. I love their post-game show. Trey Thomas does a great job. He really breaks it down and gives you a lot of good stuff. So YouTube channel and all of their social media platforms. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash. Scott in Ventnor, he actually said Ventnor Heights. He specified that he lived in Ventnor Heights. So Scott in Ventnor Heights, congratulations. You're entered to win Eagles Commanders tickets. And how do you do that? Listen for your chance this hour to qualify. Eagles Commanders tickets. We'll give you another chance to qualify this hour. That'll be for Happy Hour Friday on October 28th. We're going to be live at Garden State Beer Company, and all our qualifiers will be there, and someone's walking away with club box seats. I can't stress enough. You're getting club box tickets, Eagles Commanders tickets. Listen for your chance to qualify this hour and next hour on the Sports Bash.
I just want to know, as someone, you're a Ventnor Margate guy. So when someone delineates Ventnor Heights, not Ventnor, what is your reaction to that?
Well, the people who live in the Heights, they like the Heights. The Heights is like its own little community.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it, in fact, I know it doesn't have like its own zip code. It's not like, like West Wildwood.
Yeah.
Right? It's part of 08406. It's just.
So it's all one, but it's just the delineation.
It's over the Dorset Avenue Bridge.
Right.
If you live over the Dorset Avenue Bridge on that little island back there, you're in the Heights.
Gotcha.
But a lot of people like the Heights. It's like their own little community back there.
It's a little similar then for us Cape May County folk to like how the Ocean City Gardens are part of Ocean City. But
yeah, but they're in the same.
They're in the same zip code. They're in the same.
No, I'm saying they're in the same block of land. The Heights is actually detached from the other, from Ventnor proper. You got to go over a bridge to get to the Heights. You can only get to the Heights by crossing either the Dorset Avenue Bridge or the Albany Avenue Bridge. There is no way to get from Ventnor proper into the Heights.
So this is like Avalon Manor, where you have to cross the two bridges to get to.
You've never been to Ventnor Heights before?
I know Ventnor Heights. I've been there plenty of times. Your ball field's at Ventnor Heights.
That's right.
But I'm trying to find a Cape May and County analogy. So it's similar to like Avalon Manor.
I don't know what that is.
So Avalon Manor is over the bridge outside of Avalon. It's a whole separate section.
Yeah. I mean, it would be as if like West Wildwood was actually Wildwood and not West Wildwood.
Right.
You went over a bridge and went to Wildwood, but just on the other side of the bridge.
Shout out to the one patrol car at West Wildwood.
Just West Wildwood. Ventnor Heights is Ventnor, but it's called the Heights, and the people over there love it. And I know a lot of people that live in the Heights, actually.
It's a nice area.
So Scott and Heights, congratulations. More Sports Bash coming up. Got headlines on the way. Who's in? Who's out? Who are my 14 playoff teams? I got to tell you, it was very difficult to pick 14 playoff teams. Find out at 4:45. More Sports Bash coming up.
When you need live sports play-by-play.
Forget it. Out of here. Reese Hopkins will touch them all over that right center field wall.
And the best sports talk in South Jersey. There's only one place to go. 97.3 ESPN.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G and America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and QIOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
If it's just another day, that doesn't mean you deserve just another shower. Nebbia by Moen Quattro creates 4 unique shower experiences. Relieve, soothe, clarify, and cleanse to give you all the escape while using 50% less water than standard showers, making your everyday routine an experience. Water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
And listen to the Sports Bash today to enter to win Eagles Commanders tickets for their Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup. Don't forget, you can watch live video of the Sports Bash on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel produced by BFA Sports. Get your sports info on our app. Your forecast is next.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Summer is winding down, and we have quite a variety of weather in the forecast, from nice to rainy to unseasonably cool. Tonight, mainly clear and comfortably cool. Low temperature dips to 62. Another nice day tomorrow, sun and clouds, high 81. Scattered rain rolling in Thursday. It'll be cloudy with some late day clearing, high 78. Feeling like fall Friday, high of 68. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
You finally got that new car, so you called your insurance company.
Your call is important to us. Please hold.
We are the tippy top workshop insurance.
You ended that call with their jingle stuck in your head. Then you called NJM.
Thanks for calling NJM Insurance. This is Claudia. Let's see if we can save you up to 25% on your auto insurance.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit njm.com for a quote.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, 425 Sports Bash. It's time for the headlines. These are, now it could be anything. I mean, football, baseball's still going on, by the way. And the NBA starting very soon here. A lot of Flyers news, by the way. So we'll see what we cooked up today. Josh Hennings, my producer. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Before we get to the headlines, I want to tell you about my friends at the Caesars Sportsbook. First things first, your first bet was Caesars Sportsbook. It's on Caesars, up to $1,250. Download the app and use the promo code RADIOFULL, and then place your first bet. If you win, congrats. If not, you get your stake back as a free bet. There's really no risk, sounds like to me. Open to new users in Jersey who are 21 or older. If your qualifying bet loses, the bet amount is returned as a credit. You must use that credit within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If someone you know has a gambling problem, if you or someone you know, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Caesars Sportsbook, you bet, you get. Last night I said on the air, my bet was Jalen Hurts anytime score. I forgot to do it.
Oh, that's okay.
I've been doing that a lot.
I forgot to do all of my bets yesterday.
Well, I can't vouch for that, but
I'm just talking about me. So
I
get distracted.
I can't help you out. I can't say, hey, Josh, remember to put your bets in. That's a little.
Well, I figured you wouldn't, considering that I didn't remind you about the Fantasy Football League. So
true. You know how many people have commented on that to me?
I feel like everyone I meet says something like they want to tell me their take on the situation.
Right. Well, everybody I know is totally on my side, which never happens. Normally, everybody's against me. In this instance, everyone's like, dude, I hate to agree with you, but he should have called you.
Well, the funny thing
is... It's over with, though. I'm past it. Well, now I just don't turn my lineup in. That's all.
Right, exactly. Speaking of football, this will be a story that fantasy football players will be interested in. So Mike Evans is appealing his suspension. Would you like to know who the appeals officer is for his suspension hearing today?
I want to say I heard there was John Runyon, and this was an interesting, they were talking about this last night. You're saying no, but last night they were saying that Runyon he gave the suspension.
Runyon gave the suspension.
And the Bucks are playing whatever team Runyon's kid plays for, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
And so that was part of it. It was like, well, they suspended Evans, and he plays against Runyon's kids' team next week.
Well, this gets funnier. So the guy who's his appeals officer is James Thrash.
Huh.
Another former Eagle is involved in the Mike Evans appeal process.
I feel like this, former Eagles seem to do it. Troy Vincent is like something.
Well, Troy Vincent's like the second in command to Roger Goodell, basically. Yeah. So all these former
Eagles. Is he going to be the next commissioner?
That's the theory. That he is in line to be the next commissioner. That the Goodell is basically grooming him.
Gotcha. I got the Phillies lineup.
Do you get excited about the lineup at this point? Or you just kind of like
listen? You gotta still be invested. I mean, what are you talking about? By excited? They're in the playoffs right now. What kind of question is that?
I'm just saying it's like the lineup is turned into like a kind of like a ho-hum thing.
No, it's important. They're back home tonight. These are the last 6 home games of the season. This is it.
What do you predict is going to be the average attendance?
14,000. No.
Average
17.
attendance.
17.
So they still won't get 20.
I don't think so. Do you?
No. I'd be surprised if they
There's nothing else going on tonight except for the Bachelorette 3-hour finale.
I don't know how many baseball fans
Which
are
I will be
watching
watching.
The
Did I just say that out loud?
Yeah, you did. I won't be watching.
3 hours. 3 freaking hours.
That's too long.
Even my girlfriend was not happy. She's like, can you believe this? Just get this over with. Just figure out who you want to marry.
I mean, how many advertisers are involved in this show?
It's a 3-hour finale, probably 120, it sounds like. How many commercials can I fit? What was I doing?
That shows you how bad long I've worked in media. I asked, how many commercials are involved?
Schwarber, Hoskins, Harper, Real Muto, Bohm, Stott, Segura, Marsh, Veerley. Gibson's pitching tonight.
Well, I guess the good news is Guthrie isn't playing.
No, but there was we had Frank on earlier. He talked about Castellanos. I guess Thompson said today he might try to get into a game over the weekend, like a rehab game.
They need him back. But as Frank said, they don't want to rush him back and him injure himself again. So, but Phillies play tonight versus the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Gibson.
That's a coin flip. Gibson's like Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know which version you're getting from night to night. I got a college football story for you. So, for those who follow me on Twitter at Josh Hennig, I put out there my question of who should, if you're Matt Campbell, should you be interested in any of these potential coach openings? Well, according to The Athletic.
Oh, I saw this.
Matt Campbell.
I voted, by the way.
3 targets.
Everybody should be targeting Matt Campbell.
He's one of 3 targets for the Nebraska opening.
I had a lot of college football takes over the weekend. I don't know if you saw. I had some college football Twitter handle with like 30,000 followers liked one of my tweets, and it just took off.
Went nuts.
Yeah. You didn't see that?
I'm not on Twitter as much as you are.
Continue.
So according to The Athletic, the Nebraska Cornhuskers are targeting the following 3 men. Matt Campbell of Iowa State, Lance Leipold of Kansas, who right now is 3-0, by the way. How crazy is that? And Alabama offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien.
He knows the Big Ten.
So you're targeting all guys who are currently not in the Big Ten for a Big Ten.
No, Bill O'Brien was in the Big Ten.
He was, but he's not right now. He's in the SEC.
You don't have to target someone in the Big Ten.
You don't have to.
Matt Campbell's my pick for every job if I have the opportunity. But if I'm Matt Campbell, I don't need to leave Iowa State.
See, that's my conundrum. Like, if you're Matt Campbell,
first off, the Big 12 is going to fall apart. So they could potentially be the cream of the Big 12. Like, I liken it to when West Virginia was in the Big East. If you won the Big East, you had a shot.
Right.
Right? You had a shot to be in the national championship game.
And with the postseason expanding to 12.
Right. So if you're Iowa State and you're the top team in the Big 12, I'm okay with that. Now you're going to go to Nebraska. I feel like, and this is something I tweeted. Like, is college football, like the powers that be, do they really take a step back and say, man, we're doing a great – now, they're making more money. So that's the answer to all the questions. They're making money. They're making money. I get they're making money. But do they really feel they have killed rivalries? Oklahoma-Nebraska is supposed to be special. It was a awful game. It's been an awful game. The rivalries are a mess. The teams that you used to think are legit programs are no longer that anymore.
Right.
So is this what college football, like, are they happy with what's happening here? Like, has conference realignment help or hurt college football? Rivalries have died. Former powers are irrelevant. Nebraska's irrelevant. Miami's irrelevant. Florida State's irrelevant. Tennessee's irrelevant. I can continue to go on. There's really only 1 to 2 to 3 good teams in the whole country. So is this really good for college football? Was all this really good for college football? To which somebody told me that I must be a casual college football fan.
Good grief. First of all, the person who said that is probably a casual fan themselves.
Well, that's what I said. I said, I'm sorry. I actually must have higher standards of who is real and who is not. Because to me, even though you're 3-0, doesn't make you a real. Like if Kentucky's in the top 10, that's a problem. College football's a mess if Kentucky's in your top 10.
Hey, Kentucky's good.
I know they are, but there should be no reason ever that Kentucky is in your top 10 of the best college football programs in the country.
But I'll tell you why. Because Nebraska went basically to hell in a handbasket after Tom Osborne retired.
Yeah, but you're making all my points here is exactly what I'm saying. So college football moved Nebraska. They decided to go to the Big Ten.
For money.
And it killed all their rivalries. They now have no rivalry games. So because they have no rivalry games and they stink, the game when they actually had a rivalry, Oklahoma, they can't compete in anymore. Michigan is, I don't know, are they a national championship contender?
Yeah, if they win the conference, they were in the college football playoff last year.
But are they really any good?
Well, that's the problem. Nobody really knows if they're good because they've played
Because
Hawaii
everybody else
and
did.
Colorado State.
Texas isn't the
and
same.
UConn.
USC's not the same. Miami's not the same. Florida State's not the same. Notre Dame's not the same. Nebraska's not the same. Florida is not the same. Virginia Tech's not the same. None of these teams are the same. Then you have teams that are so bad that used to be competitive. Syracuse, Boston College. They all used to be they used to be solid teams.
Yes.
They stink now.
I love the fact we both brought up Boston College. That makes me happy.
Boston College was a pain in the butt when they were in the Big East.
Well, they were supposed to be still a pain in the rear with Djokovic at quarterback, but their entire
we don't need to break down the Boston College roster. What do you got?
All right. Did you know that apparently you can curse on NFL Network?
Yeah, it's cable.
Oh, apparently you're not supposed to.
Well, no, I mean most people don't try to.
So on Good Morning Football, as you know, I'm a regular watcher of the show. One of their most recently brought in host to replace Kay Adams because they lost Kay Adams this past year and Nate Burleson a couple of years ago from the original cast was Jamie Erdahl. He used to do sidelines for CBS SEC games. Well, she just casually drops the S word on a morning television show when she was explaining that when Tua got sacked in the Ravens game, that Nick Saban was quote losing his bleep.
Yeah, so is she now like eliminated from contention of taking that job?
No, she has the job.
Oh, I thought you said one of the people.
No, she was one of the new people as part of the show now from the original cast. The funny part was Kyle Brandt's reaction. He pulled what those of us in the people who watch movies first call a Deadpool move, because he looked straight into the camera and raised his eyebrows when Jamie dropped the curse word, almost to tell the audience at home, did you catch that?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but on cable, I mean, you're allowed.
Jamie Erdahl went on to Twitter and to apologize to everybody. He says, I couldn't contain myself.
All right. So what did you think of I saw a lot of reaction to the Monday Night Football doubleheader last night, the overlap.
Yes.
So what did people think about that?
I mean, I'm going to assume that I wasn't on Twitter all the time like you were, but based on what I saw, I think some people were actually glad the Eagles game started because the Bills game became a
That was part of the
blowout.
problem is the game was the Bills game was a blowout. But like, would we like a 7 and 8:30? Would we rather have two standalone games? That was my question.
I hate it personally.
See, the question that I asked didn't get answered. Can anybody help me over here? That's what I asked you. Did you like it or not?
Well, you said, do the people like it?
That's a question for them out there. You are then to answer the question. The people can answer for themselves, and you could say, I don't know about them, but I did. I didn't like it.
All right, fine.
A literal question. I got a literal answer. I can't ask him. He's probably got the literal answer, too. He's looking at me like, no, I agree with him. I'm getting double teamed over here. Now I got two guys who are literal.
But guess what? The literal guys are the ones who got the thing on the YouTube. So
God almighty.
So it's a blessing and a curse. You got to deal with the literalness to be streaming live on YouTube, thanks to BFA Sports.
So did you like the two games at the same time? Now, the one game went to halftime. It was pretty much over.
Yeah, I actually
saw a
hated
lot
it.
of people complaining about why do you put the two games on at the same time? But they also be the same people that would complain that the games are on too late.
Right. They're probably the same people. For me, I just didn't like it because of the fact that, first of all, I didn't like how ESPN handled it. I didn't like the fact that when the Eagles game started and the pregame show on ABC, they spent half the pregame show showing the Bills-Titans game. So I was like, well, what's the point of me being on ABC? And apparently did the same thing. I saw a clip of this. Apparently during the Bills-Titans halftime, they did a look into the Eagles game. So I was like,
they were doing that all night. You didn't notice that? They were cutting in and then bringing in Scott Van Pelt. They were almost doing like a red zone.
Yeah, it was
that was what the whole point was. So apparently they're ramping this up to do multiple games on Monday, maybe 3 in the future, and that they'll have somebody like Van Pelt kind of doing like a red zone cut.
Well, then just do a red zone.
Oh, do you not want to watch the game?
I want the option to either watch the game or watch red zone. To me, the whole point is,
well, they weren't doing it the whole game.
Yeah, but it was annoying when they did it. It's like at halftime, I want a little analysis. I want a little conversation. And it's like, we're going to go check it on the Bills game.
There was one time where they showed one play in the Bills game and then went back to the. Yeah,
it was like in the third quarter, right?
I don't remember when it was, but they were like, let's check it on the Bills. And like they went there and then they showed one play and then they went right back to the Eagles game. Yeah, it was definitely a little herky-jerky, but I don't know. What did everybody out there think? 609-403-0973. All right, when we come back, I got my who's in, who's out. Who are my 14 playoff teams in the NFL? This one's hard. I mean, 2 weeks in, I know it's early, but it's hard to find 14 I don't think there's 14 playoff-worthy teams. That's what I'm getting at right now. So we'll do that coming up on the other side. My who's in, who's out. That's next here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, and watch live video of the show on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, powered by BFA Sports.
The excitement of a big play.
Big moment. You got it.
And all the drama of sports.
That's a home run.
All in one place. 97.3 ESPN.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G and America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and QIOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Main wreckage on the south side of the tracks. Report of male driver, late 20s, severe injuries.
Copy that.
Can you see the vehicle?
No, it's way up there. I heard a witness say the stop arm was down, but he tried to beat the train anyway.
Too many drivers are killed crossing railroad tracks, even though they know a train is approaching. What they don't know is, even after it breaks, a train can take up to a mile to stop.
Requesting ambulance stretcher to shuttle crash victim back to the road.
Copy.
Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Wireless.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
More Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
All right, 446 Sports Bash. Who's in, who's out? These are my 14 NFL playoff teams. These are the 14 teams I think will make the playoffs. Josh will give his as well. Here we got.
Of course, being brought to you by Jenkins, just like 97.3 does. You should trust Jenkins, too, to keep you comfortable in the summer and warm all winter long. Call 609-641-6262 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com.
Okay, who's in, who's out? These are my 14 playoff teams after 2 weeks. AFC East got the Bills, not even a question there, although Miami looked pretty high-powered offensively.
They did. But Bills.
North was tough.
I feel like both Norths were tough.
Yeah, there was a couple. The wild cards are impossible right now, but I have gone with Cincy. I'm going to stick with Cincy for one more week.
I am making a switch to a team that lost. I'm going Ravens. I think there's some serious flaws in the Bengals because you don't spend all that money on an offensive line and still get your quarterback smashed 17 times.
The line looks worse.
Year. It does. And also, hey, Jesse Bates, didn't you want a contract extension? How about you play a little better on defense?
Crazy. So you got Baltimore. I'm sticking with Cincinnati. I think they were. I think they got off to a slow start last year too.
Did you see the stat that no team has started 0-2 in the last couple of years since they expanded the playoffs has made the postseason?
I saw that the Eagles, the last couple times they've started 2-0, have not made the playoffs.
Good grief. Well, I mean, they started 3-0 in 2016.
South, AFC South, who you got?
Jags.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jags, too. In fact, I've been kind of on the fence of I keep saying that that's the one team that could surprise, go from last to first. I think Jacksonville showed. I mean, they walloped Indianapolis.
Destroyed them.
They hung in there against Washington on the road. Tough to win on the road, but I think they showed me enough that I think that's a bad division. Tennessee was dreadful last night. I think Indianapolis wins the South, and I don't think they're much better than 9-8.
I'm going the Jags. Give me Doug Peterson.
West, Kansas City.
I'm going Kansas City. They're the best team out there. And that's without Tyreek Hill.
Okay, wild cards. Give me three.
Broncos, Chargers, and I'll put the Bengals in there for now.
Wow. I got Miami, Chargers. The last one was tough. I don't love this Denver team for some reason, but I went with Denver. But I don't even know who else. I mean, Baltimore, maybe the Patriots. I mean, just because Miami. You don't have Miami in?
Nah. I think that game was an anomaly because once they get into deep in their schedule, I don't think they're going to be able to come back and score 28 points every fourth quarter.
Okay. Well, I had Miami last week. I think in the first week of the year, let's see, my preseason pick.
I'd have to double check the Dolphins.
I did have
schedule.
Miami. I had Miami in the first week too. So I've been with Miami the whole time. Miami, Chargers, Denver. All right. NFC, I got Philadelphia in the East.
Me too.
Minnesota in the North.
I'm going Packers.
You saw enough. They beat the Packers,
They did. But the Packers lost 38-3 last year in week 1.
Okay.
So
I got Tampa in the South.
I'm going Tampa just because I think the rest of the division is poor.
Yeah, you think? The Rams.
I got the Rams still. Consistent.
All right, the wild cards, I made a little tweak here, and there's a reason.
Okay.
I got the Saints.
Me too.
The Packers.
I have the Vikings. I swapped them.
And the 49ers.
Me too.
Now, I have not had the 49ers at all, but because of the injury to their starting quarterback, I now feel much better that they have a shot with Jimmy G taking over as the backup quarterback. So I have the 49ers in as my wild card team.
Don't the 49ers feel a little bit like the 2018 Eagles when Nick Foles came in for the broken back Carson Wentz?
I mean, it's a little different circumstances considering they didn't have the MVP of the league get hurt.
No, but the point, no, that's 2017. I mean 2018.
Oh, when the next year.
Yes. When Wentz.
Yeah, but that was still later on in the year.
It was, but it has a little of that feel to me because it's like, here comes the guy we all know and love. I was saying last night, Mike, it felt like when Jimmy G came in, it was like, like when Edge returned at WWE out of nowhere, nobody knew it. And he's like, and he's back. I felt like I heard JR in my ear, Jim Ross. It's like, oh my God, he's back, going nuts out there when Jimmy G trotted on the field. And he looked really good.
Yeah, well, listen, I was not a believer in Trey Lance. And guess what? That could be a move that ends up killing that team because they gave up so much to get Lance. So it's almost like they're putting the thumb in the hole. It might help him out for this year. He better be able to play moving forward. But this could be like 3 years now that he hasn't played. Remember, he didn't play in college because of COVID.
He has played a total of 3 games over the last 3 years.
All right, so just to rehash, Bills, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Miami, Chargers, Denver is my AFC field.
And I got Bills, Ravens, Jags, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Bengals.
Eagles, Vikings, Tampa, Rams, Saints, Packers, Niners.
And I got Eagles, Packers, Bucks, Rams, and then my wild cards are Vikings, 49ers, Saints.
Okay, that is who's in, who's out. I mean, I can't even, I'm going through. I said this was tough. It was tough to find. Like Denver, I don't love. The Raiders are 0-2. I mean, that doesn't mean you're done. I don't love what I saw from the Colts at all. Baltimore, Pittsburgh are both 1-1. The Patriots are 1-1. I guess there's a Jet fan out there saying, what about us?
Joe Flacco, 4 touchdowns.
Everybody's talking about how good the AFC was, too. I had some tough time finding 7 worthy playoff teams over there.
I'm sure there's somebody out there who thinks we should have the Texans in there.
But doubtful. The NFC...
the NFC really comes down to what do you think of the teams in the North and the West? Right?
Well, I mean, and then Dallas is another one. I haven't had Dallas in.
Giants are 2-0.
Giants are 2-0.
Washington, they're 0 for now.
No, they're 1-1.
They're 1-1. That's right.
Everybody's 1-1 except for Carolina and Atlanta. Everybody else has a win in the NFC. Now, in the AFC, you've got Cincinnati 0-2, Tennessee, who was the 13-win 1 seed last year,
right?
0-2. We're not giving them any consideration, so.
Nor should we.
Not the way they looked last night.
They're going to have a rough year, man. How soon does Malik Willis start for Tennessee?
If they keep playing like that, I mean, soon. Kevin says he hated the 2 Monday night games last night. What'd you guys think? 609-403-0973. Dan in EHC says, I can't believe I allowed the Phillies to trick me again. They could make the playoffs. They could make the playoffs in 2020 when there was 8 teams. I'm embarrassed. If they make the playoffs, Dan, you're not allowed to cheer for them. How about that?
Embarrassed. That's aggressive. Of course, Who's In, Who's Out being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. One call does it all. 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
All right, I need caller 7 right now. 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. Caller 7 right now. You are entered for a chance to win Eagles Commanders Club Box seats. Enter every hour on the Sports Bash. Right now's your chance. If you're caller 7, you have a chance to win Club Box seats for Eagles Commanders. The Sports Bash will be live at Garden State Beer Company on Friday, October 28th, where one lucky winner will walk away with a pair of Club Box seats to see the Eagles Commanders Monday Night Football game at Lincoln Financial Field. Caller 7, 609-573-3776. Caller 7, good luck. It's a Tuesday with Thompson. The PT joins me next.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday in Washington against the Commanders.
He is going deep for Quez Watkins, who has it, goes in for the touchdown. The strike to Quez Watkins.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagle station.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I got Park Hill and West Valley covered on Tuesday.
At Marita's Pool Service, the current staffing plan doesn't hold water.
3 more neighborhood pools on the same day.
She needs more pool technicians to dive into work head first.
That's awesome, but now we're shorthanded.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
Hey, congratulations to Matt in Vineland. He's our latest qualifier, Matt in Vineland. Matt, you have a chance to win Eagles Commanders Monday Night Football club box seats. How about that, Matt? Good job out of you. Good job by you. Good job by you. Matt and Vineland got another chance to qualify this hour here on the Sports Bash Live 97.3 ESPN. And we're giving away those tickets. And don't forget, I know the PT's here for a Tuesday with Thompson. We've got an opportunity for you to win ZZ Top tickets as well. They are coming to Ocean Casino Resort. And we've got 5 pair of tickets to see ZZ Top over at Ocean Casino Resort. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com, to enter. If you're watching the show live on our YouTube channel, you see the boys from ZZ Top right there. You can download the mobile app, and you can enter to win ZZ Top tickets. All right, let's bring the PT in, get a little Tuesday with Thompson here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. And, of course, if you're watching the show live on our YouTube channel powered by BFA Sports. The PT is brought to you by Boardwalk Honda in Egg Harbor Township. Shop their entire inventory online anytime at boardwalkhonda.com. From Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal, Peter.
Michael, how are you?
What's so funny there, PT? You got a little jolly look to your face.
Well, you know, we've got some different iterations now. We got BFA Sports and the live stream up and going now in a beautiful way. PT has purchased a circle light, so I have full light on my face. The Lord said, "Let there be light," and for $40, there was.
All right, well, let's first off get a couple of thoughts here. We're going to try to wrap in PT's extra points. That's entertainment because we got Grayson's grades coming up at 5:30 tonight. So let's get a couple things. You were at the game last night. I wanted you to give that perspective of being in the crowd and just how loud and energetic that building was for the game last night.
It felt like a playoff game. It felt like an NFC playoff game a couple of years ago when they played the Vikings. You know, I mean, the crowd was well lubricated and souped, and everybody was in their seats and gleeful and happy and joyful. I mean, by the time it hit halftime and they done what they did, which was rack up all those yards and points in the first half alone, You thought they were going to score like 58. I mean, it just, they would show celebrities on the big screen. I think they showed Bryce Harper was sitting in the Mike Trout seats down in the one end zone. And then later they showed Reese Hoskins in a club box or a suite, and then at one point, obviously, Darius Slay picks off a ball and he gives it to the beard, James Harden. So, and then later on, they showed, they were like, well, we showed some celebrities that got good responses. Let's show some more people. So they showed Questlove at one point, a big cheer for Bradley Cooper, who is at most games and was sitting near Jeffrey Lurie. So, and he, waved his arms and went crazy and said, get up, get going. I think it felt like a playoff game. And when you're there at the game, you forget that the rest of the nation is watching, and they were watching, I believe, at least once the Bills game got over, if they're not necessarily Eagles fans. But I think that Jalen Hurts presented himself, and the rest of the Eagles presented themselves very, very well on a national Monday Night Football game.
They did. All right, let me read off some of the text messages that have been coming in. Guys, I think what we saw last night is close to the ceiling of what we get with Hurts. I believe we can win with him for sure, but I don't believe what we saw Monday night was a weekly thing with Hurts. 80% completion, jury's still out. By week 8, we should know for sure. That's kind of like, okay, I asked the question earlier. Like, if you had questions about Hurts, is he starting to win people over? Is he moving you in the one direction? We have a lot of people out there that just don't think this is the guy. I agree with what this guy is saying. I think that's the ceiling for him. I think you saw one of his best games. So now it's one of those things, PT. That game is in him. Now the question is about consistency. How close can he get to that game every single week? I don't know that we'll know the answer, but do you think he's winning people over?
I absolutely think he's winning people over, and that's what happens when you become the first player in NFL history with 300-plus passing yards and an 80-plus completion and 2 rushing touchdowns in a game. I mean, what else do they want this guy to do, Mike Gill? I understood, and I had it myself, the doubt in the summertime of, is this guy, because your last memory of him was in Tampa, where he quite frankly could not beat the Buccaneers with his arm. But to become the third player with 300-plus passing yards on 50-plus rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns on Monday Night Football ever, the other 2 being Cam Newton and Michael Vick. Now, if I throw those 2 guys in, the overall picture might be, well, Cam Newton, Michael Vick, they were fun to watch, but did they ever win the big game? And that's ultimately what it comes down to. I think the best part about Jalen Hurts is that he's never satisfied and he's never happy. I did get the chance. I haven't gone back and watched the game yet since I was at the game, but I did get a chance to watch the post-game interviews and things like that. And for him, he was almost sort of salty in the post-game interview room about how the second half went. I think he was very disappointed that they weren't able to score in that second half. I really, even though I don't think the pick was his fault late, I think that took his passer rating down. I think that ticked him off. I mean, dare I say it, Jalen Hurts is a bit of a perfectionist, and you want that.
He's the first player in NFL history to throw for 300 yards, complete 80% of his passes, and rush for multiple touchdowns in a single game, Peter. That has never happened in the history of the NFL. You were at a game with history last night, PP. Where were you when that happened?
Section 135, row 6, jumping up and down, having a great time, hooting and hollering.
This is what I like about the game last night. And I give this guy a ton of credit. I wish he left his name because I want to give him credit. Cowboys fan here. Hate to admit it, but Hurts looks good. The team looks good. 2 weeks is a small sample size, but it's a scary time to not be a Philly fan. Hey, guess what? There's not too many Cowboy fans who have the hubris
to admit. Yeah.
And that guy right there, listen, I always say I think the Cowboys have the most talent, a ton of talent. They always let me down, and they make me look like a jackass for always supporting their talent. But I always say in the end, I should never have bought into the coach. The coach is a fool. But I give that Cowboys fan a lot of credit for saying, guy looked good last night. Cowboys fan, 2 points for you. I've handed out 4 points today, PT.
Wow, and you're a very tough grader. If you look at it too, don't you think the Eagles have moved themselves into the conversation as one of the best teams in the NFC? I mean, they have to be, right?
Keyshawn Johnson, this morning, we played the audio earlier right here on this very program, Pete Thompson said, why wouldn't they be the number 1 seed? And I'll ask you why, Pete Thompson. You stop me when you hear a team that you think will be favored.
Okay.
Washington?
Nope.
Jacksonville?
Nope.
At Arizona?
Nope.
Dallas?
There you go. Dallas will probably be – it's at Dallas, right?
No, it's here in Philly.
Oh, no, then no.
Pittsburgh?
Nope.
At Houston?
Nope.
Monday night against Washington?
That one's at home. No. Yeah, in Philly. No.
Monday night here against Washington. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At Indianapolis?
Nope.
Home against Green Bay?
I
mean, you're not going to be a home dog.
No.
Especially –
I paused because of who the opponent was.
Green Bay lost to Minnesota.
Yeah, but then they looked really good on Sunday Night Football.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
maybe
Bay, I don't think Green Bay is the same Green Bay that they've been. They lost Devontae Adams. They might be – they're a good team, but they lost a huge player on that team.
Very much so, yes. Lazard is not Devontae Adams. Keep going.
Home against Tennessee.
Right. No, they'll be favored in that.
At New York.
The Giants do give me pause. I mean, they're 2-0, right?
This is week 14. They're going to be.
Well, you're asking me to project 14.
By then, they'll be 4-10.
What do you want me to run the table? Let me turn this hat. Does it have Super Bowl on this hat somewhere?
Yes.
So you know my feelings.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to be realistic. Like, is there a game at New York, at Chicago?
At New York, at Chicago, right? Not Chicago for sure.
At Dallas.
Right.
Now, at Dallas.
The Dallas's D is legit. I think that,
by the end of the year,
right.
There's a possibility that they could be an underdog in that game. I would agree. Home against the Saints and home against the Giants. Legitimately, and this isn't being a homer or anything. I'm just like, if I'm betting,
right,
I don't think they're going to be an underdog in
except for maybe
any
one
games.
Yeah, you say none. I say maybe one. Maybe one.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's pretty good.
Guys, Hurts reminds me of Dak. If that's his ceiling, I think it's a win for the Birds and Howie. That's my guy, Wally from the Main Street Band. I like Wally.
Nice.
He gave me a nice T-shirt that I still wear, by the way.
You know, it's funny. I think they answered a lot of questions last night, too. And one of the things that we're not talking about is Jonathan Gannon, right? I mean, we jumped all over that guy. And if you rip him for how they played against Detroit, and if you rip his defense, I mean, he threw everything at Kirk Cousins last night. They played zone. They played soft zone, press zone. You know, he came up with the plan of like, Slay, you're going to go wherever Jefferson goes, except for some times where maybe we'll throw Maddox on him, right? And so Darius Slay dominated that game. The Eagles dominated that game, but the Eagles' defense was a storyline in that game. And then once they got all that through and out of their system and Kirk Cousins was totally confused, then the blitz started to get home. Then the pressure started to get home. Then they started to sack him a little bit. And, you know, the other thing, too, people forget, Nick Sirianni was 3-6 to start his Eagles coaching career. They're 8-2 over the last 10 games. So in 19 games with Nick Sirianni as head coach, they're 8-2 in the last 10.
9 out of the last 12, by the way, too. Yes. So
I'll take that. I'll buy that. Absolutely.
Guys, I think this is another text says, guys, just my opinion. I think you guys are downplaying the hype that was made over Minnesota. Their team was supposed to be really good. And then what they did in a week one supposedly lend it to more of their height. I think they got beat up pretty good by a good team on a good night in Philadelphia Eagles last night. That's from Jay in Atlantic City. So he's saying, you know, we were talking about earlier that Minnesota, I have them win in the division. So I don't know that I was downplaying them, but I don't know. Is there a more impressive win that you're going to get on your schedule? Like at the end of that's going to be the problem, PT.
Yeah.
We're going to look back and say, have they beat anybody? That schedule I just read, the answer is going to be no. The best team on this schedule right now is Green Bay or Minnesota.
And we talked about that going into the preseason or going into the season. When the schedule was released, the Eagles had what, the second or third easiest schedule in the entire league? Hey, you play the games that the league dictates and the computer spits out. Don't blame them for the schedule. I mean, you can blame them for a lot of things. As to the Vikings and whether we were hyping them, I was worried. I was scared about the game last night. I thought, like, I had these visions in my head of Dalvin Cook pulling a DeAndre Swift ×2 or Cousins, going off, and certainly Jefferson. So they shut down the three-headed monster of Minnesota. They shut down every piece of it.
What did you think about John Gannon? We had talked a lot about, was it Gannon's defense, him, or the execution not there? Give me your thoughts on John Gannon and the defense now.
Well, in the beginning of the game, I was frustrated because I thought the D line was having trouble getting off their blocks and getting pressure. And yet, I don't know how you don't praise Jonathan Gannon on a day like today. Every one of those weapons that the Vikings brought to the table, Justin Jefferson completely shut down. He was targeted 12 times. He only caught 6 balls for 48 yards. And most of that was Slay, but Avonte Maddox had a nice pick in there as well. I don't know how you don't praise Jonathan Gannon when Dalvin Cook only carries the ball 6 times for 17 yards. He caught a couple balls too, 4 for 19, but how do you not give credit to Jonathan Gannon and his scheme for that, right? His scheme was to, maybe not blitz Cousins, but to drop enough back in there, and he's got the weapons now, not just Slay, but CJG and Avonte Maddox and Marcus Epps and all the people that are back there. One of the funny moments late in the game, and this is something, Gill, that you see at the stadium, but you maybe don't see on television. Darius Slay bobbles, the Eagles get picked off and the Vikings have a short field. This is late in the game. And Darius Slay almost has a pick back on them. And when he comes up out of the pile, he's limping. And he's starting to walk back to his position. All of a sudden, you see Zach McPherson come running in from the right. And Slay kind of looks at him like, get the hell off the field. He waves at him like,
they
get
showed
out
that
of
on
here.
TV. They did show it, and he waved them off the field.
He waved them off like, get out of here. I'm handling. And then he picked the ball off. I mean, he wasn't. You got it. If that's not the definition of big play Slay with one ankle, I mean, my God, PT was really hooting and hollering at that point.
Woohoo! I want to get PT's. It was good, PT. I want to get PT's thoughts on Jeff. 2 beers, $29. Parking, $45. PT, have any cold ones last night? $29 for a beer.
Well, and he says priceless. Yes, like it was a great game to attend. So the beers, I have to give a shout out to my man George. He is our seatmate in section 135, and George is actually from our listening area. George has done very well in life, so George tends to bring back as many beers as they'll sell him. And then all of a sudden, these beers just get started handed down the road. So the game hadn't even kicked off yet, and I had a beer, and Michael had a beer, and Bronson had a beer. Okay, fine. So, and Gil, maybe that I don't park in the Eagles lots. I park just far enough outside the blast zone. I park on Packer. Don't steal my spot, everybody that's listening. But I park on Packer, and it's a walk. I mean, it's a hike, and yet I was outside that too. So my thing would be, didn't pay for the beer, didn't pay for the parking. Jalen Hurts was awesome, still priceless. Yeah, I had a good night.
Nice. Creepy Uncle's watching, says, today was painful for me. Game time starts at 1:30 a.m., finally asleep at 5 a.m., up for work at 7:30. I was a walking zombie, but it was well worth it. See, those Monday nighters are always funny. You got people walking around the next day just out of it.
Yeah, including probably some of our staff in that building, right? As I was walking up Broad Street, talking to my father, who spills out of a limo, but our own grand poobah, Mike Rubel, saying, Pete Thompson. And I'm thinking, who the hell knows me? And then I see this white
Who the hell knows you? The question more is, who doesn't know you?
That's true. I do shake all hands and kiss all babies. Play the reception line starts at the left. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a surprise to see some of our colleagues at that point in the evening, and I was hoofing it back to the car. And yeah, you're a zombie on Mondays, but if they win, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's not much more you could say. The offense answered some questions, PT. We said, hey, how come so-and-so, I didn't say it, but people, why so many targets for A.J. Brown? Okay, I'll throw you the ball. 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 He really spread the targets around last night. I think Brown had 8. That led, but I think Goddard had 6 and Devonta had 7.
That's right.
I'm going off the top of my head, PT. So,
yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're doing great. You're
All right.
nailing it. Keep going.
Gainwell 3.
Well, I don't have the whole map in front of me.
Oh,
but I had Devontae
Haskell
Smith
2,
and Goddard.
Watkins 2. Watkins had 2 for 69 and a touchdown.
Dude, that Watkins thing was another ball that I'm telling you, Mike Gill, the Jalen Hurts touchdown that looked like he was going to get dragged down around the 2 or the 3 yard line, and then he just sort of finessed his way in. That happened in our end zone. The Quez Watkins 56 yarder, or however long it was, that ball dropped out of the sky. I mean, there is nothing more exciting. And I'm sorry, I like grand slams. I like home runs. I like slam dunks. I like 3-pointers. I like game-winning goals in hockey. But there's nothing more exciting than standing up as you see the quarterback heave one, and it's like the ball goes up, and then it starts coming down, and you realize if this guy catches it, it's 6. And he held on to it, caught it, and our end zone went nuts.
All right, Pete Thompson, real quick, Phil's tonight, any interest?
Oh, yeah, we'll be watching. Sure, absolutely. I mean, but, and I made one of my PT bets last night, and you can tell me if this is stupid or not. I had a gentleman with me last night that was my guest at the game who is insistent now that the Phillies will not make the playoffs. Okay. And I go, put your money where your mouth is. He goes, oh, it's not. I go, $5. I go, that fits my budget. $5. I'll put $5 that the Phillies will make the playoffs. Now, they might make it and get swept out, but they're going to make the playoffs. And yeah, so I'm absolutely invested. But he is the epitome. Like, you think I'm bad. He is the epitome. I even stopped him at one point. I said, have you ever heard of people called Negadelphia? And he's like, whoa, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you, man, you're Exhibit A. Come on. So, yeah, I'll be watching. I'll absolutely be invested in the Phillies.
All right. Well, Phil's tonight against Toronto. Got it. Starting to get a little scary here, PT. Starting to get a little scary. And then
you didn't answer if you thought it was a stupid bet or not.
Well, what was the bet again?
I bet him $5 straight up that the Phillies will make the playoffs.
I think they'll get in.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do very well in this Toronto series or Atlanta, but I think by the end of it, they have an easy enough road, I think, down the stretch that they should be able to get in.
Get in, but then who do they play?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, at that point, if they make the playoffs, I think people will be thrilled.
Right. Will they show up?
Then the people will show up.
Yeah, for the playoffs only.
How many do you think will be there tonight?
On a Tuesday night after the Eagles hangover.
They have 6 home games left the whole season.
I'm going to go with like 24,000 tonight.
Wow, PT, a little overzealous for me.
Yeah, you think like 17?
Yeah, I got 16, somewhere around there.
Okay, so 16 for you, 24 for me. We'll take a look and see who's closer.
All right, PT, that's entertainment. What's on your list this week?
Well, I did DVR the Quantum Leap show. Were you a Quantum Leap guy back in the day?
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard of it. I didn't watch it.
I like stuff with time travel, so I watched it. Maybe it'll catch on me. I mean, for a show to be fun like that, you have to be invested in the characters and the plot lines and stuff. And I think in the 80s, that's why Scott Bakula was so good or Dean Stockwell was so good. I don't know that I've bought in yet, but I'll give it a couple more. I mean, they got Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters in there, so they got one face I recognize. And then other than that, I did watch. Here's one you got to watch sometime. You and Heidi should watch Road to Perdition.
Okay. What service?
It's usually on HBO. I think I saw it the other night. HBO Max. You could probably find it. But it's a movie that Sam Mendes directed it, who was his debut movie was American Beauty with Kevin Spacey and Chris Cooper was amazing. And then this was his follow-up. And it also happens to be Tom Hanks is in the lead, but Paul Newman, this was his final role. And I'm telling you, Gill, it's your kind of movie. I think you'd really enjoy it.
All right.
I don't even want to give you more of the plot, but
3-hour Bachelorette final tonight, PT.
Oh God, there's a special place for you, sir. Enjoy.
3 hours. I mean,
are you into it, or are you just supporting your lovely? I mean, are you into it?
This season has not been very captivating.
You know what was captivating, which we didn't get to talk about because Ryan did a great job filling in for me yesterday? Sunday. By the way, aren't you going to break my stones for 2 weeks in a row? I'm out of the survivor pool immediately.
I know. I got the standings. I got the standings
Cleveland.
right here. 0-2.
I can't catch a break. I mean, are you kidding me?
Pete Thompson. Oh, no, I mean, you did it to yourself. Oh, I got to be different. No, you don't need. You strive your whole life to copy everybody else on everything, except for the one thing where we told you the answer to the test.
You guys were scared, though. You got to admit, the Falcons look like they might be able to pull off the upset for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
Right. Unbelievable.
Right. PT, back on Happy Hour Friday.
Yep.
Thursday, we'll be over at Chickies and Pete's.
Do we know which one?
I believe Atlantic City. I haven't been told otherwise yet. But
all right. Well, let me know if you hear
ask me
otherwise.
questions like that live on the radio. Like,
well, I don't want to show up at the wrong place.
You act
know
like
what I mean?
people in this building talk to me.
Wouldn't that be outstanding if I was at one location and you were at the other texting me? PT, where are you? I'm here. PT.
Jeez.
I see Ryan back there laughing. I got somebody laughing, thank God.
Road to Perdition is a classic. Tom Hanks. That's on the text board there.
Yes, very much.
I like this one from Jay in Atlantic City. I don't know what it is, but you guys are rolling these past weeks. Been a lot of fun listening to Mike, Josh, PT, all the guests. I get stoked to sit in the car and take a ride.
Oh, thank you, Jay. We love to hear it.
Nice. Yeah, PT.
Yeah, MG. All right, buddy.
I got nothing else for you. My list is out of questions for you.
Very good. Talk to you soon.
All right. That's a Tuesday with Thompson. It's sponsored by Boardwalk Honda in Egg Harbor Township. And, of course, our friends over there, you can shop their entire inventory online anytime at boardwalkhonda.com. From Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal. All right, PT is back on Thursday. And then on Friday, he'll be here for Happy Hour Friday. But when we come back, it's time for Grayson's Grades. The professor hands out his report card. Scott Grayson from Fox 29 and 97.3 ESPN.com. Hey, many ways you can touch the show, or get in touch with the show, I should say. It's a little weird if you try to touch the show. You can text the 97.3 ESPN text board, 609-403-0973. You can listen on the free mobile app and message us through the app on your phone. You can watch the show on our 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, powered by BFA Sports. They're doing a great job providing the live video. And don't forget, the mobile app, the website, you can get ZZ Top tickets. All the details on how to enter are on our website. And we have another chance for you to qualify for the Eagles command. A lot going on. And it's all right here on the Sports Bash.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
844-REACH-NJ is the call to make if you or someone you love is struggling with addiction. Call today, 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Look, folks, I got to be honest with you. Everything's up. Food prices, gas prices, pencil prices. I love pencils.
Everything is not up. You're forgetting about Springfield Mitsubishi in Atlantic City.
You mean they're not jacking up prices, Jack, like everywhere else?
Correct. And every vehicle is still $1 down.
$1? You gotta be kidding me. That reminds me when I was a kid, my dad said, Joey, here's a dime. Go buy a house. But what about credit for millions of Americans?
Go to Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. If you bring home $350 a week, you can get up to $25,000 in credit.
$25,000 with only $1 down.
Get new Outlanders with third row seating in stock now.
Look, here's a deal. Just get down to Springfield, man.
Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville, they service all makes and models. Springfield MitsubishiAC.com.
MitsubishiAC.com.
My first annual salary was a dime. That's a real deal.
get the right.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
Company and affiliate coverage.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
Monday night matchup with the Vikings. The Eagles will turn their attention to the Washington Commanders. You can listen to Eagles Commanders this Sunday at 1 on 97.3 ESPN. Listen to the Sports Bash today to enter to win Eagles Commanders tickets for their Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup. Don't forget, you can watch live video of the Sports Bash on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel produced by BFA Sports. Get your sports info on our app. Your forecast is next.
Is sports betting about to become way more fun? You bet. Because the BetParks app has a brand new sports book. Live bets and parlays? You bet. Instant deposits and incredible app experience? You bet. Plus, your first bet is risk-free up to $750. So, are you already a winner just for signing up on the BetParks Sportsbook app? You bet. BetParks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Pennsylvania and New Jersey only.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Summer is winding down, and we have quite a variety of weather in the forecast, from nice to rainy to unseasonably cool. Tonight, mainly clear and comfortably cool. Low temperature dips to 62. Another nice day tomorrow, sun and clouds, high 81. Scattered rain rolling in Thursday. It'll be cloudy with some late day clearing, high 78. Feeling like fall Friday, high of 68. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Do you have questions about Medicare? For personalized guidance from a local Medicare expert counselor, call the SHIP hotline. SHIP is the state health insurance assistance program that provides unbiased help to beneficiaries, their families, and caregivers. Free. Call SHIP today at 1-800-792-8820, 800-792-8820, or visit aging.nj.gov. This ad made possible by the New Jersey Division of Aging Services with funds from the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
5:33 Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. The 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Live video on our YouTube channel, 97.3 ESPN, powered by our friends at BFA Sports. I'm Mike Gill. Grayson's Grades. We'll get Scott Grayson's report on what he saw last night. I mean, I know he was there. Hard to give a lot of bad grades out last night. Let's see what Scott Grayson had in the report card over at 97.3ESPN.com. And, of course, don't forget to check out Scott Grayson on Props and Locks on Fox 29, and you can see him on Fox 29. What's up, Scotty? How you doing, bud?
Doing good, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing well, especially we're all a little lack of sleep, but those are the good kind of lacks of sleep. And, you know, I look at the report card, and obviously it's just loaded with A's here. So let's start with the positives and take a look. I know you've been watching Hurts and this team. You've been covering them for a while. That might be the best a quarterback has played. Man, I mean, you're going back to maybe Wentz in 2017, the night Mike Vick debuted for Chip Kelly. I mean, this was a special night for Jalen Hurts.
It really was, and the fact that he did it on a national stage to me made it really seem like it was a bit of a statement game for him personally and the team to kind of say, in a conference that is lacking really a front runner at this point, I think the Eagles said, "Why not us?" And Jalen Hurts started that with that opening drive. That was an impressive opening drive, and I mean he completed his first 10 passes. The one that was dropped after, I mean, he only missed 5 passes on the entire night. You're right. I mean, the comparison I looked to most recently, of course, is 2017 Wentz. And that's where I think you need to kind of stop and pump the brakes a little bit and say this is 2 weeks in. And for me personally, with Jalen Hurts, I'm at the point now where I went into the season saying he was my biggest question mark for this team. He's not my biggest question mark anymore. That now has turned to the pass rush that I'm a little bit looking to see more out of at this point. But for Jalen Hurts, am I willing to call him the franchise quarterback after that last night? No. I mean, that's going too far after one game when 2 games into the season. But is he the biggest question mark in my mind? Not anymore. I think he put that to rest.
You also gave an A to Devonta Smith, and I want to get your thoughts on the role that he played and how they used him last night. I don't know, did they use him differently? How were they able to get him the ball a little bit more?
I think it all started with right from the beginning. They committed to the fact that they wanted to get him a touch on the first play of the game, which I was not surprised by. I just expected it to be something more like a wide receiver screen. It was a high completion percentage kind of pass to get him going and get him on the board. Make sure that he didn't have 0 catches the rest of the game. And I think the way it played out after that was that I really do think that they looked at this last week, the Vikings, and said 2 things. Number one, we're not going to do what the Lions did, and we're not going to blitz the heck out of Jalen Hurts and let him beat us with our legs. And number 2, they said we're not going to let A.J. Brown go off on us like he did in week 1. Now, did Brown have his? He had some catches, sure. He definitely did well. Did that open up things for Devonta Smith? I think it did. And credit to Jalen Hurts for not just with Smith, but in general. He spread the ball around really well last night. And I think that's what you needed to do off of that first game to keep all these guys hungry for that ball and knowing that they need to be running a good route because at any moment it could be coming their way. I thought Devonta Smith had a good game. He needed that after the first after week 1. 7 targets, all 7 catches. So that was really nice to see.
Grayson's great. Scott Grayson. Another A is Shane Steichen. And I don't know too many people even know who that is. We don't talk about him. We didn't bring his name up too much. But I did see some tweets last night. Steichen's gone at the end of the year. Pump the brakes. It's only 1 game. But what did you like about the game plan?
Balanced. I like the fact that it was balanced. I like the fact that when you got into the fourth quarter with the lead, you were running the ball down their throat and you were getting first downs to continue moving that clock. And that's the biggest thing that I like to see out of that was less run plays from Jalen Hurts as well. I could even do with a little bit less of the called runs for him outside of those key third downs that are short enough where you want to run the RPO. I'm still looking to see a little less running plays from Jalen Hurts at this point, but overall, I thought the game plan was balanced. Again, like I said, with the dispersion of the passes, they were evenly kind of balanced and distributed with who got the most catches, who got the most yards. Dallas Goedert was involved. A.J. Brown was involved. Your top 3 receivers who need to touch the ball. Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, all involved. Miles Sanders had a good game in my mind as well. Nice mix with Boston Scott. I just thought it was a really balanced game plan that, and I honestly gave him credit too for the opening drive. That opening drive really set the statement for the game and really set the tone in my mind that they were going to be in there. They were going to move the ball down the field and they were able to do pretty much whatever they wanted. So I thought that was a great opening script as well by Steichen.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's flip to the other side. The other guy generally is in the D or F category, and that is John Gannon. You gave him an A. I don't know if you've ever done that before. But hey, I don't know. Are we, much like you said, you're ready to turn the page on Hurts? Are we ready to turn the page on Gannon, or is it just a one night only?
Yeah. I'm certainly not willing to turn the page on Gannon at this point yet. Like I said, I need to see a pass rush that is just harassing the opponent. And that might be, whether it be with blitzes or not, this front four is not winning their battles. They're not getting to the quarterback quickly enough, frankly. And they did blitz more, especially in the second half. And that's why I think we saw some more turnovers. And that's when I start wondering, when Gannon goes back and looks through this film, is he going to see what that blitz forced Cousins to do? which was throw the ball up in the air for grabs, and his guys made plays. Darius Slay was amazing last night. I think he made Gannon look good, frankly. On the one pick, Jefferson, I thought Aikman did a good job of pointing it out on the broadcast. Jefferson ran behind Slay and allowed Slay basically to cut in front and get that pick. On the other one, Slay should have had an interception. The next play, I don't know why you go back at him again, but they did, and that time he made the pick. Avonte Maddox's pick was nice, but they were all, I think, partially due to the fact that Gannon had started to bring a little bit more pressure on Cousins and forced him to make mistakes. So I say to Gannon, good job. You did those and called those plays that you needed to. But my hesitation is still with the fact that this front line is just not getting the kind of pressure that I think a lot of us thought that, look, Hassan Reddick doesn't have a sack yet. The strip sack by Fletcher Cox was nice. That's one play. You need to get back there on some of these quarterbacks and really, you need to make their day, really, really rough. You need to get them to get rid of that ball like eventually they did with Cousins, but they needed to do that earlier in the game. And frankly, they did only give it up 7 points. But how many times did they come up with a huge turnover in the red zone? The Vikings were moving the ball into Eagles territory. They got into the red zone. Credit to the defense for getting out of there with no points. After a blocked field goal, they shut the Vikings down with no points. But I still have reservations about Gannon's defense for sure.
I figured that you might say that, but for one night only, he got an A. You got no Fs, no Ds, no Cs. You gave a B to the offensive line, and it's something that needs to be addressed. I thought they played really well, but the reason for your B is 3 illegal men down, Fields, unacceptable.
Yeah, it really made me have, deja vu to last year, if you will. I felt like it was one of those games where the Eagles were having touchdowns taken off the board because of calls like that last year, if you remember. And I started thinking, oh, goodness, they have not fixed this yet, which is amazing because they had all year to make sure guys don't – it's one simple thing. Do not go down the field too early. It's really should be simple for this offensive line to do. And I don't think Jalen Hurts was holding the ball long. I don't think, but I think frankly, it's a matter of what you see from the lack of reps in game situations in the preseason. And their just timing wasn't there as to when those guys should leave the line of scrimmage. And a lot of times they didn't affect the play. So you go, okay, it's a great play call, but it's negated by those penalties. And the offense overcame them. I agree with you. That offensive line was solid last night. They won their battles. They were dominating. I just can't have those kind of penalties when you start looking at, okay, we're now in January and they're in a playoff game. You can't do that. You can't do that to your offense. And the offensive line has got to be a little bit better about that. The timing in general of the entire offense is what it comes down to. So the offensive line gets the blame. They need to obviously rep it more in practice and get that timing down.
We talk about all the A's that you handed out. Obviously it was easy to kind of pump everything out there. But I guess one question on top of the penalties was, hey, 24-7 was the halftime score. 24-7 was the final. Did you have a problem with the way they took their foot off the gas or not necessarily? I had tweeted out when they were up 24-7, hey, this is what I want to see. I want to see you just run the ball 24-7 and run the clock out, shorten the game, let your offensive line impose their will. And they kind of did that. And then they threw that wonky interception on the Gainwell thing. But I like that they get up 24-7. And if you can run the ball behind that line, I have no problem with you just trying to just blast them and just impose your will.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think I'm okay with it because the defense kept the Vikings at 7. If they started to tack on a field goal here early in the half and then they add a touchdown, now we're starting to get nervous, right? So I think you're going to call your offense a little differently. I thought they did do a good job of running that clock for the most part. When Hurts threw passes, he was completing them. When they were running the ball, they were moving the chains. They had to punt, a little bit here and there. Sure. Would you like to see them score one time and absolutely step on the throats of the opponent? Yeah, I think ultimately that's where we want to get to. And I think Jalen Hurts alluded to that a little bit after the game, saying that, look, there were some good things, but there's definitely some things they really need to improve on. And I think that was one of them that he highlighted was we have to do more in the second half to try to score a little bit and just put an opponent away. That is something that I think you could say this team has not yet done. They didn't do it to Detroit. They didn't put them away. I don't know that they put the Vikings away. They just kind of like kept a stiff arm on them and kept them off the scoreboard, which worked. It was good. And that was a good team they beat. But that next step is to say, yeah, now you're going to step on their throats. Look at what Buffalo did, right? You want to try to take that next step where you're putting another touchdown or two on the board in the second half to say, this is over.
I'm almost glad they didn't win 44-7 because the hysteria would be off the charts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are already talking about it, right? I mean, it's amazing the way the pendulum swings in this fan base. Everybody's ready to start buying their Super Bowl tickets to Arizona, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny because it was Bills and Eagles playing last night, and both dominated. It was like, could Arizona handle Buffalo and Philadelphia fans all at the same time? Yeah,
that would be funny, right?
Yeah, all right. Props and locks on Fox 29. You can check them out on Fox 29, and of course, Grayson's grades after every Eagles game are posted at 973ESPN.com. Follow him at SGraysonFox29. And, of course, next week we'll be recapping, grading out Eagles, Commanders. So it's interesting. Carson Wentz.
Yes, Wentz against the guy who took his job.
All right. Well, should be very interesting. Wentz is putting up some big numbers so far.
Yes, and I know we'll get into this, but you look at what he did last week, and it was the same old. They held the ball too long, and that's where you look at, well, if this front four is going to have a day, this is the kind of quarterback they could have a day against.
All right, Scott, appreciate it, bud, as always.
All right, you got it, Mike. Take care.
All right, Scott Grayson here on the Sports Bash. Grayson's grades over at 97.3 ESPN.com. All right, get ready to wrap up today's show. Before we do, I want to tell you about my friends at American Airlines and at ACY. Of course, I've been telling you a little bit about the fact that American Airlines and ACY are your gateway to the world, and ACY is now your one-stop ticket to over 90 domestic and international destinations. Hey, you can go see your favorite team on the road and leave right from ACY. Save time and money. Avoid the fees and the hassle of parking at the big city airport when you start your next vacation on American Airlines from ACY. Excitement is just one stop away on American Airlines from ACY. Book today at AA.com. Yeah, we talked about some of these road games. I mean, you don't need to fly to Washington, but Arizona, a couple weeks. Houston on a Thursday. Indianapolis, Sunday. Chicago, Dallas. It's not a lot of road trips still left that you could fly with ACY. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap up tonight's show. Josh has game night. Chris Franklin tonight joins him at 6:20 right here on the Sports Bash. We've got final thoughts. And don't forget, another chance for you to qualify is still coming. And the ZZ Top tickets. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com. Enter to win. If you're watching the live video, the details are on the screen.
The best way to wake up is with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Dime down
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi at
Chickies! When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the premier difference.
Eats.
Research shows listeners prefer a person.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
New phone. But switching to a better wireless.
The Claridge is the best destination to stay and play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Just steps away from the ocean, the Claridge has it all. The city's ultimate rooftop bar, wonderful restaurants, classic guest rooms with ultra-high-speed Wi-Fi, and 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space for events and the wedding of your dreams. Book at Claridge.com for the best rates and find the best package for your stay. Discover all the Claridge has to offer.
Angels.
Worried about your credit? For zero down and zero payments for 90 days. So bring any trade and drive home in a new Kia today with peace of mind. Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
On approved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
552 Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. I'm Mike Gill. Don't forget, tomorrow, Cup of Joe Valerio, he tweeted at me last night, had some interesting takes on Jalen Hurts. So you're going to want to hear that tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, with Cup of Joe, former NFL Kansas City Chief Joe Valerio, local guy, watches a lot of the Eagles film. Fine 5, ugly 5 tomorrow as well. Hey, we're giving away those ZZ Top tickets Friday night. I'll have 5 pairs. Friday night right here on the Sports Bash. ZZ Top tickets. I already see people entering. Very popular item on the website and the free mobile app. We also, tomorrow, going to get into, by the way, Phillies and Blue Jays tonight. Jeez. Starting to get a little nervous about this. How are you out there?
I'm a little nervous just because, well, they lost a bunch of games on the road. And I'm curious, is it the Braves? Is it them? Are they in a slump? Was it temporary? Hoskins is back in the lineup. What does that mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll be paying attention to that. 3-hour Bachelorette finale tonight.
I will not be watching that. I will lean on you for the full report tomorrow.
I'll give you the full report. I'm wondering if neither girl gets married or engaged.
Has that ever happened?
I'm not sure. I haven't watched every single season, but it's my thought there.
It's an interesting theory.
Train wrecks. It's been a mess.
Do they just have like bad taste in men? Like, is that what's going on
That's
here?
part of it. A lot of these people are on there just to try to get famous and,
They're 15 minutes of fame and hope they can parlay.
Yeah, and then they end up like having spin-off shows like Bachelor in Paradise. And then basically you got all the people who got cut from the Bachelor and the Bachelorette, they go to like an island together, and they're just basically like having the time of their life. So like most of these people, they don't even want to go on the show to get married. They want to go on the show so they can get on the other shows.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
So it's just a parlay to something else.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these people aren't there for the right reasons. You got to be there for the right reasons, fellas, ladies. What do you got coming up tonight?
Oh, we're going to talk about the Eagles win. Chris Franklin was there. I want to get his insights on the game because, Mike, one of the things you and I were talking about throughout the day was we all had questions going into that game. Well, there's one thing about the fan reaction. There's one thing about the national media reaction. I want to condense it to the local reaction.
That's coming up tonight at 6 right here on Game Night After Me here on the Sports Bash. Hey, it's your final chance to qualify right now. Caller number 7, 609-573-3776, 609-573-3776. Caller 7, you're entered to win Eagles Club Box tickets for Monday night against the Washington Commanders. November 14th is the game at Lincoln Financial Field. We will be live on Friday, October 28th at Garden State Beer Company on the White Horse Pike in Gallery. But you must be caller 7 to win the tickets right now. 609-573-3776. Caller 7, good luck. All right, that'll do it for me. I'm Mike Gill. This has been the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, and streaming live video on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, powered by BFA Sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
They've got a cakewalk, and even after the bye, they got the Commanders, the Jaguars, the Cardinals, Cowboys, the bye, the Steelers, and the Texans. Their schedule is set up for them to have the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Listen weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts